Folks, we are live. Welcome to Talking Crit and another week of This Week in Gaming Stupid. Uh, I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, as always on Wednesday night, is my once a week work spouse, Bad Mike Battleato of North Texas RPG Con fame. Mike, you got a bottle in your hand.
This is a really good Texas whiskey, Ben Millum, straight bourbon whiskey. It won one of the 10 best in Texas a couple years back, and I got it for a present. So I just broke this out tonight because I'm feeling festive tonight because look, we thought we were going to have Tom Tullis tonight. I double checked my schedule. Tom Tullis is next week. We will have Tom Tullis next week, and he's going to talk about his Kickstarter, which will open the night before our show. So it just should be great. Fat Dragon Games puts out some great Kickstarters. They do 3D printing stuff. It's awesome.
Yep.
Tom is a hilarious individual.
Tom is a unique individual.
Yes, very much so. So this will be fun, but I'm feeling kind of bouncy. I don't know, because it's just been a crazy. So
I'm
week,
high on life, man. I'm high. Oh, by the way, future guests who have agreed to be on the show haven't nailed the day down yet for them. The artist extraordinaire who did the cover of The Continual Light that is being written,
James Shields. Yeah, James Shields.
Awesome. We'll have him in a month or two.
Special guest at North Texas RPG Con. Yes.
Yep. And Stuart Robertson, another artist, creator in the OSR. If you know the classic OSR graph paper looking icon for the OSR, Stuart was behind that. So
nice.
We like to have our guests, but we also like to have our chats. And when we have this week in stupid, like this large stupidity, this year in stupid, right? I mean, January is the month, I guess.
2023 is the year of the stupid, and it's the year of the WotC stupid, and there's just so many stories breaking like every day and every week that look, I mean, if it's dead, we love special guests because we can just wrap special guests. But right now, there's so much stuff going on. I mean, it's hard because you have a special guest on, and so I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit because I have only been doing this for a couple of years. Eric's been doing it maybe a little longer than that, but I don't know. We started doing this about the same time. I mean, I know you had your gigs before. You had a few gigs that just didn't work out. That just never. Because Vince couldn't have a show that lasted more than 3 episodes.
No. Let's here the thing with Vince. All right, let's give him credit where credit is due. Vince is a great podcaster, great at organizing it, great at getting it up and running, but he has limited patience for shows that don't like spring up
immediately, like Boffo ratings, like 2 shows in. You've got to be top 10 show.
So I'm gonna, Vince would not have stuck to this channel as long as we have.
No.
All right, because I'm gonna give you a little peek behind the wheel here. Like come behind the curtain. Let me show you how it really is. Listen, we've had some really popular shows that. Mike and I live streams and whatever else, or my own vids. When I talked about the Trove, it hit 30,000 views or something like that. It was awesome, but I was probably averaging on this channel. The floor was generally 250 to 300 views on a day, and the ceiling was 900, 1,000, somewhere around 5 or 6.
That's not bad. I mean,
not bad at all.
Whatever.
Since we've been covering the Wizards of the Coast fiasco, that should be their game, like the new game from Wizards of the Coast, Fiasco 2023. Since we've been covering that, our new floor is about 2,500 in a day.
Wow!
And our ceiling was 30,000 in a
crazy. Day. That is nuts.
The Trove took like 2 years to hit that. When I talked about the Trove going away. We had that in one day. Now, I'd like to give Bill Webb a large amount of credit for that because Bill's announcement from Frog Guy got over 12,000 views. But, listen, we've been picking up subscribers, and more importantly, we've been keeping subscribers, and we've been keeping the views. I really do appreciate it. And, folks, we had 2,500 subscribers last Saturday, this past Saturday. So, as promised, there's going to be a giveaway today.
Oh,
As Jen knows, not here for the drawing. That's right, not here for the drawing.
yeah.
Jen is not
Sorry,
allowed
Jen.
to participate in the drawing. We are so sorry, Jen. We love you dearly, but you
we're
have
we're starting to get investigated by the FCA or FAA because
you got witchery involved, young lady.
Yeah.
You got witchery involved. You caused problems.
Something wrong here. Something
But we're gonna about 9 o'clock. So if you're here now, I would suggest that you stay at least.
So anyway, I wanted to finish my long-winded thought. I was going to say that when we have guests on, and then big stories like this are breaking. I don't know how you feel, Eric, but I'm sitting there the whole time talking to this guest who you should be giving all their attention because they're your guest or show. All I'm thinking about in the back of my head is, oh, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to talk about that. I want to mention.
You got to give the guest at least it's like.
You got to get the guest. Yeah, at least an hour. We got, and then hopefully they'll want to talk about what we want to talk about. And so it works sometimes when we don't have special guests like this because for some reason I don't know why you guys love to hear us yammer on about whatever. So we will give you yammering on tonight. Tonight will be lots of yammering as we have things slow down because.
Yeah.
Did I just run out of power?
I still see you, Mike. It might be telling you will run out of power.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still see you too.
All right. I just got a little beep beep burp burp beep burp from my thing. I was going to plug my headphones back in. Anyway, but I was going to say is that so this is the kind of thing that we can do because they apparently fired the intern that's made all the terrible WotC stuff. And so this week, nothing. They're like, okay, they're going to forget about it if we just don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it for a week. And it's going to be okay. And they're going to forget about this OGL thing. And so they just power down and they're going to hide. They're hiding. They're
doing the orphanage shit, the head in the sand. It doesn't work, folks. It doesn't. Trust me, it doesn't work.
Not really. But not with gamers because these are people. Look, half the people who play D&D are on the spectrum. The other half are nerd geniuses. I mean, no, these people grab a bone, they just chew that bone to pieces. So nobody's going away. But there was a couple of really good articles published this week. Eric and I are going to talk about them.
Yep.
Having to do with different things things going on in the OGL, OSR, whatever's going on here. we got an unboxing video tonight because I got in. Well, okay, I say unboxing and I tore it and I realized what it was. I didn't open the whole thing. But this is from Greg Gillespie's Mega Dungeon Monsters. So we're going to pull that out. We should just do that first. We'll just pull this out.
Pull it out, Mike.
So this is. You want me to whip it out? I'm going to pardon me while I whip this out. Ah! All you Blazing Saddles fans out there. So this is I got 2 copies. I wanted to support Greg in this. So this is the Mega Dungeon Monster Manual. Greg wanted to get it out because he did all the work on it. And he was really scared that this OGL thing was going to hit and they were going to say, you can't publish anything. But what this is this is all so in the back of every one of his mega dungeons, Dwarl Deep, Forbidden Caverns, Highfell, and Barrel Maze, he has a little monster section in the back. The problem is Greg's a lazy git. And so when you're doing an adventure and they'll say, oh, this monster was in Barrel Maze. I'm like, I don't have Barrel Maze. I'm running Highfell. And so I get pissed off because I'm like, okay, the party's attacked by 3 whatchamacalls. Okay, whatchamacalls are in Barrel Maze. Well, I don't have that. So this has all the monsters from all his books. It's let's see, how many pages? A little over 100 pages. But what's cool is he got original art for all these monsters.
One of the artists is in our chat.
Yeah,
Stuart Robertson is in there.
So there's a lot of really good artists here. So what we're looking at is, we're looking at a ton of monsters. If you want monsters for your OSR old school campaign, let's say you run OSE, Swords of Wizardry, BX, Labyrinth Lore, anything old school, this is what you're going to need because this has pretty generic old school stats. The artists include Darlene, Russ Nicholson, Tim Truman. Those are the big names. Then we also have Torrin Atkinson, John Bell, Chris Brasco, Jacob Fleming, on and on. Corey Hamill, Robin Irwin, Stephen Pogue.
That's a big name.
Yes, of course, Stuart Robertson.
Yeah.
Matt Ray. Matt Ray's got some great stuff. He does covers for all the modules I do. Jason Schultes. I mean, just of course OSR logo by Stuart Robertson. But yeah, great book, great cover by this is what's his name? I love this guy. I can't remember his name. Peter Mullen, great Peter Mullen cover.
Nice.
I can't remember how much this was, but for this amount of monsters and all the cool things that go with them, a lot of them are totally original. Some are kind of half like he has a Frostman here. That's kind of a remake of a Fiend Folio monster, if I remember. Let's see what he's got. He's got goblins and gnolls, but he's got that Greg Gillespie twist to them. They're not the same goblins and gnolls. They do different things. The good old Juju zombie. I'm looking here. I mean, this is a lot of the stuff. Instead of Kuatoans, he has Kalos Toas, who are basically like Kuatoans. You have a big, giant, long description if you want to put Kuatoans to campaign, but we can't call them Kuatoans. Pack lizards, packs, Son of Gax, Skeletal Warriors. I mean, a lot of classic monsters and a lot of new ones. Well worth your money. I'm reviewing. Old Man Grognard says thumbs up by this.
There you go.
Glenn would say thumbs up by if you run old school games and you run a ton of new monsters. To Mike to a stick figure monster for the book. That would be about my speed. Believe me, I probably could do that. But yeah, great stuff. Yeah, Stuart, thumbs up. The stuff you did was great.
Well, folks, the link at the bottom of the screen is for that humble bundle that Michael Anderson is referring to. You get like 52 OSR and 5e releases.
Great stuff. Oh my god. Well, the Mega Dungeon is Forbidden Caverns of Archaea, which won a 3 Casts Award several years back. That's one of the coolest things that Greg did, which is basically his take on Keep on the Borderlands. It's really awesome. There's so much stuff in there. There's some Cobalt Press stuff in there. There's a lot of old school guys in there. I believe there's some Levi Combs. The module that Tom Wilson and I did, which is an homage to X1 Isle of Dread. It's called Dead Men Tell New Tales. It's in there. It's great. It's a great
you're not going to find it elsewhere, folks.
No,
unless you never in digital format.
No, we do not put any of the stuff we did in digital format except for that one. B2.5 is still not in digital format. Probably never will be. But that is a great bundle. And also, here's the best part. The bundle helps two things. Number one, it helps Wounded Warrior Project. That's where the money goes to, which is
not this time.
Yeah, it's Wounded Warrior.
No,
it's Wounded Warrior.
Not. No,
no. Sure?
Oh. It's the comic book.
Comic book defense fund. Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. What was I thinking? What did I think?
Because Bill usually does something for the Wounded Warrior or the Marine Relief Fund or
comic book defense fund. But the cool thing about Humble Bundle is that's what it's for. But you can check whatever box when it pops up. It says, "Who do you want to donate to?" They usually have about 15 different charities. And so you just kind of click whatever box you want on there. But also this goes to support all the creators who get a percentage of this Humble Bundle because they're going to probably need this money in the time ahead. This is a really rough time for creators of original stuff because, look, nobody knows if this is going to be shut down or not in 6 months to a year. They just don't know. And this may face legal hurdles. And if it faces legal hurdles, there's going to need to be money for hiring legal people like lawyers. And the lawyers I've talked to are very optimistic that if this came down to a court case, WotC would lose. But
I've heard that universally, WotC would lose, especially if this actually went to trial. The idea is that WotC will try to outmoney you. And
sure, and that's why you're going to need money to hire a lawyer. But look, very few of these type of cases ever end up in court. WotC would have way more to lose than anybody suing WotC. Way more, because they don't want a judge to come down with a ruling that says, beholders and displacer beasts really aren't protected. I mean, you didn't show us any evidence that anybody else can't use beholders or boulets, and oh no, we just lost beholder. They don't want to do that. So it would probably be a settlement, but here's what we're looking at: a long court case, drawn out, money whip you until they decide to reach a settlement. And
here's the thing: the settlement would usually only apply to the people involved in the legal action. if there's a decision, that's precedent. And that would apply to everybody else. Another reason why WotC would never want to get to that. They'd rather settle out, publisher by publisher if they
Sure.
had to, as opposed to having an actual ruling on it. By the way, John, thank you. I'm not sure that Matt Finch would agree with that. That the light rules are better than the full Swords and Wizardry rules, but I get a lot.
Take where you can get it.
Play or pickup games. It's great.
It's. I think honestly, Swords Wizardry Light by Eric and Zach and the work who really did all the hard work. It is the best thing ever for introducing children to D&D, introducing people that don't know how to play D&D to D&D, for quick pickup games. It's an amazing, cool set of rules. Hopefully we'll get Continual Light at some point, which would be awesome because I've got some Continual Light stuff that I'd like to throw in there. I've got some adventures written. I've got my OSR rule set, which is gonna play off of Continual Light, I think, when it comes out, because I am fascinated by what I call the quest system, which is no experience points. I think that is a great idea for
less bookkeeping,
because nothing else. People fight over experience points. I just saw about 3 or 4 fights this week about, well, my party, they went on 6 adventures and they haven't gone up a level yet. What's wrong? Well, you got to give them more gold. Well, I want to give them more gold. Well, that's how experience points you get. You go gold pieces, experience points, and you go monsters. Unless they're going to fight a vampire or an army of vampires, you're going to have to give them gold. What if I don't want to give them gold? Well, they're not going to. I mean, it's just a mess.
Right.
So the quest system avoids all that. You can give them a king's ransom. You can give them 3 copper pieces. It's you go up by how many adventures you go on. It's a great system. Very little bookkeeping. It makes it very easy. How many adventures have you been on? 5. Okay, that means you're 3rd level. There you go. I mean, it's easy enough. You got it.
Anyway, so you have your back cover artist for Dead.
Oh, Mark. That was a great. I believe. I don't think I have the original for that. I thought I had the original for that. I thought I got it from Tom. Maybe not though. But yeah, that was great. He did a great. The back cover does look nice. I don't have a copy I'd show you, but the nearby, because I'm at home and not the warehouse. But yes, Mark did a great. I paid for all. By the way, I paid for all that art out of my pocket. The front and back covers of B2.5. X 1.5 and also the newest one, which actually I got to keep the cover art for that, so that's awesome. I actually have the cover art for the B 4.5 that's going to come out this year, which is a sequel to and addition to the lost. Why am I blanking on this? B4, the lost. So whatever. What is wrong,
dude? Dude, I'm having the same issue.
I am. Lost City. The Lost City. What am I doing? What's wrong with me? I just started drinking. I just started drinking. My memory loss can't be coming that quick. I turned 60 in a month, Eric. Maybe that's it.
Oh, that's it, man. You will be Old Man Grognard.
I'm trying to catch up to Old Man Grognard, but he keeps going in front of me, so I can't catch up. So anyway, so that's all that business out of the way. So buy Greg Gillespie's Mega Dungeon Monster Manual. Buy the Humble Bundle. Both excellent. The Humble Bundle is pretty much you're stealing. You're stealing because that's cheap enough to.
My money.
Oh, you're stealing. I mean, come on. There's
it's
just
a great value. Listen,
yeah.
Even if you're purely an OSR player, you go, I don't need all this 5e crap. You know what? There's a lot of that 5e crap that you can very easily convert to the OSR. Going the other direction is not as easy, but I can take anything from 5e and convert it to the OSR on the fly. I've already been asked to do a video on how to do so. I will probably put up a quick video sometime next week. But I've been asked because people are like, well, you say it's easy, but how easy is it? It's fucking easy.
Okay. Oh, can we talk about D&D for just a second, Eric? Because John Miller has a great statement. So he says, XP for gold is the heart of old school D&D. An objective reward mechanic incentivizes strategic thinking, rewards player skill, and makes PCs behave like the treasure. Okay, here's my problem with treasure, with gold for experience points, is that as long as there's been gold for experience points, there exists this mechanism by, you got to screw the players out of all that gold. because you can't have a fifth level player walking around with 500,000 gold pieces. So you need to screw them. They need to get. I mean, and I'm not just making this up. Read old Dragon magazines, letters to the editor, talk to old school guys on forums. They would all talk about how it's the DM's job to steal all that gold back from the players because it's not fair if the players have all that gold. That's bullshit. And that is, I hate artificial mechanisms like that. And I think a lot of it has to go back. You know, you've heard this guy named Conan the Barbarian, right, Eric? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay. So Conan would start out the story. He's wandering around. He's in Shem or Zimbabwe or whatever, and he's Zamora, and then he hears about this score, so he goes there. He tries to rob a wizard's temple or something. He gets in a crazy adventure. He fights a giant snake, a bunch of cultists, maybe a baboon, whatever, and then he ends up with this great treasure at the end. But then he loses it all. Because the next adventure he has to not have any money again. He can't get rich because Robert E. Howard wasn't right. He was writing Conan the Barbarian, not Conan the rich mother effer. He was writing about this poor guy wandering around. And so, of course, every time Conan got a lot of gold or whatever, he had to lose it. Except now he became king eventually, which is kind of cool because that was his destiny. Is that they said he had a dream one day he'd be a king. So he does become a king. So eventually he doesn't lose it all. But it was just, that was how every Conan story was. So because of this, I think DMs and people who, Gary and all those guys have said, oh, yeah, players can't have a lot of gold because we want to keep this as close to Tolkien / Howard type D&D as possible. So they need to lose all their gold. So what did they do? They made a stupid training set. First edition, one of the dumbest rules is the training rules where you have to pay 1,000 gold pieces. 1,000 gold pieces per level to a trainer to go up.
Wait, time out, Mike. But that's only if you role played your character perfectly. Right. If you didn't score a 4, if you only scored like a 2 out of the rating, it cost you twice as much because it would take twice as long.
Sure. So you had these third level characters trying to come up with 6,000 gold pieces. And of course they can't come up with that. So basically, well, you owe me. Nobody's going to owe it. So that they're going to basically, that leads to further adventures because now they have to go to an adventure to get the gold to pay the trainer back. Dumb. Sorry, not all rules as written are great. That is the dumb rule. And the rule exists for one purpose and one purpose only. And that's to take gold away from the characters because they knew that if you had to give gold for experience points on one hand, you have to take it away on the other hand. So I'm giving you gold. You just robbed the tomb of a king and got us gold. Oh, but all you guys trained and you had to spend 8,000 gold pieces. Dumb. So that is why I have a big problem with gold for experience. Look, so personally as a DM, I don't steal gold from players. If they get a great score, they get 8,000 gold pieces. They have 8,000 gold pieces. Now, there's a lot of stuff in my game to buy. If they want to buy stuff, they can. I'll give you an example. The game I'm running in Highfell, after they went on a few adventures, they had a pretty nice little nest egg built up. They bought a building in town, which is a pretty cool expense for a mercenary group, right? They bought their own buildings. That way they weren't spending money staying at the inn every night. They bought their own building. And there's these flying creatures that they basically started breeding, and they made that one section of it was a barn where they bred these flying creatures. What they call not Bayaki, but oh gosh, my memory's gone again. Anyway, there's these flying bison that Greg made up. That's pretty funny. And so they got a few of them. They made them. They lay eggs, and they started raising them. So basically, they're spending money in this business. So instead of me stealing money back from them, they were spending money into the community. They became these really well-respected members of the community because they owned this building, they owned a barn, they started running this business. That's what you need to do with gold. Instead of stealing it from the characters and saying, you wake up one day and a thief stole all your gold. Oh, no, you have to go. Now you have a regional adventure. Go after the thief. Dumb. I hate those kind of adventures. Oh.
But Mike, and here's the other thing, too. If you actually let's just, I know it's D&D, it's not real, right? But at the same time, we always wanted more realistic rules for our gaming. Economy would be shot to shit.
Oh my god! Yes,
you would ruin the economy of that first village your PCs are adventuring out of with that amount of gold being put into the economy.
They go the innkeep. Do you have change for 1,000 gold piece gem? Like, I've never seen more than 100 gold pieces in my life, so I don't know what to do.
I don't know. I can give you 4 gold, 20 silver,
a bunch of chickens,
400 copper,
free
and
beer for a year.
Good ale. I mean, come on. It really doesn't. It doesn't play out.
It doesn't
well.
make sense. No.
But
so basically, that's my problem with gold for experience, is that it creates it ruins the artificial economy, because I think if your characters find a hoard of gems, they should be able to keep it. Now, what do they do with it afterwards? I think that's the fun of the game. That's the cool part about it. They should be investing it and buying things. And, maybe, another thing that my group did in Highfell is they got an alchemist to start making potions for them. And so they had this alchemist, and I have a list of potions he can create if they get certain ingredients. So when they're on Highfell, they'll go, "Oh, we just killed a griffin. Oh, pull his wings off." And so they're always getting ingredients, and this guy and so I rolled, and a few months later, he makes 1 to 6 of each of these potions. So they pay this guy, and that's a good way to drain gold from him. So you have to be a DM with a plan and have an imagination, rather than just saying, "Oh, your training costs are 8,000 gold pieces," and who's training you? Who's this 8th level fighter that's just sitting around? He's so bored with life, he won't go on adventures anymore. He's just training you. What a loser! What a loser!
Well,
he's taking 4 weeks out of his life to do it.
Hold on, he's making great money
without risking his life.
Having to go out and adventure. It's like the PC is like broke training for 2nd level, literally. And so the other guy's like, "Oh, wow, glad I don't have to do that anymore." If I turn 5th level, I'd be like, I can just train characters up to 4th, 5th up. I'll do.
I quit.
I quit.
I'm not adventuring anymore.
I'll invest my
becoming
money
a trader
in an inn/tavern, and I will train characters.
And then let's flip it on its head. So let's say that you go on an adventure, and it's a Conan adventure. At the last minute, the guy who had the bag of gold, he slips out of his hands, falls in a crevice. You get back to town, you got 15 copper pieces. Well, that's kind of a funny, like, oh, well, we survived. We learned. We got a couple magic items. Well, guess what? Rules is written. You don't get any experience for that. Even though you might have killed all these kind of monsters and overcome traps, this, that. You just didn't get back to town with the gold, man. Sorry. So you got nothing for that. That's garbage, man. You should have a good time. If you're having a good time and you find gold, yeah, maybe you don't get to keep it all. You should still get experience for that adventure. Yeah. I mean, that,
Well, by the way, David Thompson, I give 10% extra XP if the player doesn't have blue hair. All right. Well, David, I would give out 10% extra XP if my players posted a write-up of the last game session on their blog. Everybody had blogs back then, or sent it to me in an email, and I could post it. Because you know what that did? It allowed me to see how the adventure was progressing from the eyes of my players and their PCs, which gave me more of an insight into what.
And that's very cool. That's very cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, it got them involved in it, and also, when you have different players, like how Joe the Lawyer would give you a write up and say, Doug from Gaming Ballistic. It's 2 very different write-ups and different perspectives, because they're seeing it from their character's perspective and what's important to their character. So,
or one might forget something that I do like that, because for the online Facebook page I have for our group, I would do the write-ups every week, and then my brother's always going, "Well, you forgot about this, or that guy's name's not that." I'm like, "Why don't you write it up? Why am I writing up your adventures? You need to write it up." So yeah, because sometimes you forget stuff, and I would forget things. He goes, "Well, remember the encounter we had with the bandit? Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't put that in the write up. Darn it." So
see, that's what it is, Mike. This way, you get to see what was important to your players. What are they latching onto? What you think is important isn't necessarily what they're finding important.
Yeah, right.
And if you can
very true
at your players, they'll get a lot more enjoyment out of it, and by that extent, so will you.
So maybe we should talk about real D&D more often. Look at all the responses we had to that.
I'm still working through them. I'm still working through them. Many comments, but I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up pretty well.
Did anybody here really do the training? I mean, I think we did the training rules we first started. And at a certain point, I just looked at it and said, I've got 8 players here that all owe trainers 15,000 gold pieces. We're not having fun anymore. Now they're just adventuring so they can pay their trainers, so they can go up another level and then pay those trainers. And I said, it's just this dumb. I just didn't like. So eventually we just dropped that. Kind of like level limits and racial limits. Eventually we just dropped it and said, let's just play the way we want to play. And that's actually a big part of role playing games, especially Dungeons and Dragons, is finding what you like in the game and bringing that in and out. And it always cracks me up. People like, I play rules as written, raw. I don't put anything in there. Do you put weapon speed? Well, except for that, we don't do weapon speed. Oh, what about armor adjustment? We don't do that one either, but we do. Do you do -10? Well, yeah, we do that one too. But so after a while,
what about blows to the head for those?
Do they wear a helmet? Do they have a chance to not get knocked out? We don't really use that one either. You're not doing rules as written. You're doing your own house. Everybody does their own house rules. And I told a story on a Facebook post this week, this actually happened. That I ran into a group that said rules as written. We don't do anything. You want to play with us? I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. Within the first hour, I already counted 12 different deviations from rules as written. And the thing is, I don't even know if they knew they weren't doing rules as written. I think they just had codified it after such a long period of time that this is how we do things. They probably thought it was rules as written.
Right.
And probably if you had them try to find it in the player's handbook, they wouldn't be able to find it, but they were probably certain that's in the player's handbook somewhere because that's the way we've always done it. And I'm like, and so I'm just laughing to myself the whole time as we're playing because every time something comes up, it's like, oh, this is like, I think they did the charm spell different. Oh, yeah, we don't do the charm spell like that because the way it's written, it's terribly written. So we do it like this. Oh, okay, so it's not rules as written.
Well, it's the rules as we've written them.
Yeah.
David, in my day, we had 1 hit point between the whole party, and we were grateful.
We had to share that hit point, damn it. I got hit by a bugbear, and then my buddy got hit with a goblin. I had to give him the hit point so he wouldn't die. So anyway, I do like talking D&D every once in a while. That's fun.
Yes,
because we do have strong opinions on Dungeons & Dragons. But anyway, look, I have no problem. Like I said, my group I'm running now, we use gold pieces experience too, but I just don't steal it from them every time. I let them invest it however. And hey, another thing, and somebody brought up about strongholds, right now that they're actually fighting against the rulers of the city they're based in because it turned out the high priest is corrupt and worships the god of evil magic, not the god of good magic. And so he's put out a bounty on all the players' heads. So they're having to hide. They're hiding in a stronghold outside of town that's underground. And all this money they had saved up, they're going to buy an army with it and go and take the town. So we have about 2 or 3 sessions left of this campaign. So they're starting to buy their guys now. They're buying their mercenaries. So, hey, the money's coming in handy. All that money they saved up all through the years, it's going to come in handy, and they're going to buy a bunch of killers to go kill the other killers. It's going to be a giant bat, probably destroy the whole town, but that's the way it ends up. So
we have a bunch of comedians, by the way, in the chat. They're making funnies. They are pretty funny. I gotta say, the one-liners coming out from these miscreants in the tavern.
We didn't have die 20s. We had to roll die 1 20 times. We start out at negative hit points. We're looking. Wasn't it remember the alternative rules came into play where you didn't really know what kind of character you were at first? That was towards the end of first edition.
And it was treasure hunt and then 1.
Yeah, right? And I think didn't you start out with 1 hit point or something, or did you start out like something like that?
Or like everybody
1 or 2. Yeah, you were just a regular because you're just a common person. You're a regular person, so you only have like 1 to 3 hit points or something. Then as you decide what your character class is, then you can roll. I think that's what it was. You roll your dice for your character class then. So that was actually kind of was a rule.
Yeah. Oh God. I ran that adventure and my players hated me for it. They wouldn't play the characters after that one session. They're like, yeah, we're done. Hey, now we did this. Can we now like roll like real characters? I'm like,
can we do it like they were supposed to?
I was like, but come on, you got to play 0 level characters, and no.
They didn't dig that, huh?
No, they were like, fuck this shit.
All right, so
that wasn't that. Aaron Ralston or something like that. I'm trying to remember who wrote that.
That was Aaron Alston did write that.
All right,
Yes,
Aaron Alston. Okay.
great designer, passed away
Oh yeah,
sadly way before his time.
I worked
From
for
Texas,
his
he was
work with that one.
from Texas, and he was he's a great dude. Wrote for a lot of he wrote for Shadowrun, wrote for a bunch of systems, and I always tell Doug if he hadn't passed away, he would have probably been a guest at one of our conventions because he was a Texas guy. And I really liked everything he did. So, yeah, that's always Treasure Hunt's always talked about as one of the cooler little modules there because it's different.
It's
It's
different.
different. Yeah, it's a lot different. It's very different.
It changed what you expected from D&D. It's like, well, I start as a quasi hero, or in 5e, I start as a superhero.
Well, it actually adds. So you're actually on this boat. You shipwreck on this island. It turns out this island has this lost legend and treasure, and so it's kind of cool because you don't really know if I mean you're low level. I mean you're 0 level, dude. You're like running around trying to find swords to pick up and
Yep.
and wood to strap on so you don't get killed, and you don't know what you're doing, and that's when you decide. Okay, I think I found this book. Oh, it's a magic book. Oh, I'm going to be a magic user because I need to get a spell here, man. We need some spells. We need something. So, yeah, it's a very cool, interesting little module there.
Yeah, it kind of got you away from min maxing because you couldn't min max and you didn't know what your class was going to be. It's like, but I don't want to be a magic user with a 17 strength.
Yeah, but you're the one that picked up the magic book and started reading it. So guess what? You know spells now. you know magic missile now. You got to be a magic user. Sorry.
And I think Stuart's right. I had thought about that in the past. I think Treasure Hunt inspired the funnel in DCC.
It's very, very close to. I mean, if you play DCC and you've done the funnel, Treasure Hunt's very much like that, except that I don't think you had multiple. You just had the one character.
One character.
But, yeah, so you didn't really have the multiple characters. But yeah, the concept was very much the same. Like, hey, throw this guy into it and see what he does, and then whatever he comes out the other side, that's what he is. If he decides he's going to sneak around and stabs him, are you going to stab that guy in the back? Oh, that's what we call a backstab. Oh, you're a thief. Oh no, I didn't want to be a thief, but you're a thief because you stabbed the guy in the back. Yes.
Das. I remember Wraith Squadron vaguely. I think I remember an ad for it. I never picked it up, so I don't know if Aaron was involved in that. Could not.
Very creative dude, though. He wrote some really good stuff back in the early days of gaming. So. All right. Hey. So let's talk a little WotC.
Let's talk about what do you want to talk about first, eh? What?
Well, let's talk about the really excellent article the EndWorld had.
By the way, that is something that we haven't said generally in a longest time.
The good article the EndWorld had.
But no, this is first off, I think this is from like Talion wrote this, and he's very good. Okay, but just to call out the blatant truth, EndWorld or EndWorld, however you want to pronounce it, has improved many times over with the departure of Mr. Chris
immensely. They actually have decent stories now. I know that Morris does some stuff, but the stringers they have or whoever they get on there, they actually have some pretty good articles now. I'm with you on that one. Because for a while they were just dreck. It was awful crap. And they actually have some pretty interesting, pretty cool investigative articles now. So this one's by Michael Tresca. And so long story short, and Eric, you can sum it up too.
Yep.
He basically talks about this company called AltaFox Capital. It's an activist investor company, and they own 2.5% of Hasbro stock, which allows them a little leeway. And they're the ones that started out saying this is an under-monetized property.
Mm-hmm.
We own 2.5% of the stock. We're not getting paid, and it was talking about, look, the stock payouts are pretty amazing. It said the board members got an average of $350,000 annually. That's pretty good, for being a board member of Hasbro.
Show up twice a year, once a quarter.
Yeah, just rubber stamp everything. So these guys were there. They're like, look, you guys are making a lot of money at the top. We think this is an under-monetized brand. You guys are making $350,000 a year, and we think that we need to be making more stockholders. And so they were basically recommending you need to get some businessmen in there, people who want to make money. And like I said, I'm just summarizing this. If you remember anything that I missed.
Folks, I'm going to let me give you a link so you all can follow along and or read this at your leisure. I will put this in the chat. And in the last couple of minutes, I've fallen. No, I didn't fall that far behind the chat. Okay. I
So,
thought you did.
so these guys from Ultimates, they went on to say that they thought there was 8 to 10 times more audience potential in not just D&D, but Magic the Gathering D&D than there was. In other words, you guys aren't doing your job. You need to get out there and find more people to play these games and have more ways to get money out of them. So they made a bunch of recommendations to the board, and they had an election, and they lost the election. The board members stayed in place.
Right. They
But
didn't get the ones in place. However,
no,
the ones that get appointed in the end were pretty much clones of the ones that didn't get appointed.
right. So they did end up having some people on the inside that said these guys are right. Altavista guys are right. We need to monetize this. This is where you get the Cynthia Williams saying this brand is under-monetized. That's what they truly believe. They truly believe that there's 8 to 10 times more people out there that want to play these games, and we need to get these people out there and so we can get our share price up. This is basically a gigantic financial move, is what this is. This is all done to raise the brand of WotC, Hasbro, Magic, all this stuff to basically make more money for the shareholders, which that's how most companies run, right? I mean, the shareholders want the maximum amount of money they can be able to get from holding shares. Every company's pretty much run that way, right?
Yep.
And sometimes it's not, they don't care about the fans or the people purchasing it. I mean, Disney, I'm sure the Disney stockholders really don't care if people are happy watching their shows or not. They just want shows that are going to make a lot of money and put butts in seats and get people to buy Disney Plus, I mean, if it ends up being something cool like The Mandalorian, then everybody wins, right? Fans are happy, stockholders are happy, whatever. But then you have a show like the She-Hulk that a lot of people didn't like. They kind of bombed. Actually, I think it's the worst rated Marvel show they ever came out with there because it's weird. And so, they probably thought at one point that might make a lot of money. It didn't. So you're probably never going to see a She-Hulk season 2 because they're all about making money. They're all about making money, man.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes they're also stubbornly stupid about this. I would not say they're not going to make a She-Hulk season 2. I would not go that far.
That's a tough sell because, like I said, it's the lowest rated show they ever did. But I'm with you that they made us
misogynists out there.
Well, they're misogynist against green women. I mean, green women are very underrepresented in our society.
We're kind of badly animated. But in any case,
So anyway, this is a great investigative article. So basically, he points this whole thing about under-monetized. It all came about because this Altavista, these stock investor group, makes a lot of sense. And so Eric and I both read this, and what I said to Eric was, I think they're right, but they're wrong, and they're wrong in the fact that they don't understand what Dungeons and Dragons is, or they don't understand what role playing games.
And I want to give them I want to give our audience a chance to. I'm going to give some numbers from the end of the article. Quote from Cynthia Williams on D&D's future. You'll see us leaning heavily into the expansion of D&D through D&D Beyond, the acquisition that we did that closed this past May. We have about 13 million customers, registered users, that we will continue to serve by giving them more ways to express their fandom. Folks, expressing fandom is not what she's saying. She's saying more ways to give us money. That's what she's actually saying there. Express your fandom by spending your money on our shit. When Williams mentioned that the D&D brand is under-monetized, it sounded a lot like the same claim made by Alta Fox. She pointed out that Dungeon Masters made up only 20% of the customer base, with an untapped player base that could be unlocked as recurrent spenders. Recurrent spenders is another way to say subscriptions. Okay. With more than 70% of digital gaming profits coming from post-sale. All right. We'll break that down. And what that means is that the money that they make on their digital stuff comes from you spending more money on your digital stuff. And digital stuff does not have a cost of storage, doesn't have a cost of shipping, doesn't have a cost of warehousing, doesn't have a cost of printing.
Nope.
The D&D monetization strategy, according to Cox, would be Hasbro's prime opportunity to implement Brand Blueprint 2.0, which would be to make Dungeons and Dragons a $1 billion IP. So,
Because so I know everybody thinks that Hasbro is a giant mega corporation, but let me throw some numbers at you. I think Hasbro itself is worth $6 billion. Disney's worth what, 160 billion? I mean, there's here and then there's here, and they're like, I mean, they're not here because Paizo's probably worth 100 million, and then you got Hasbro worth 6 billion, but then you have stuff like Disney, Google, whatever. Those are worth hundreds of billions.
all right,
So
Disney is 57 billion in
yeah, so it's just a small piece of what, but they still think that they can make, look, another $1 billion is another $1 billion. That could be stockholders. That could be another, $100,000 a year for your in your portfolio, which is, hey, they're not going to sneeze at. So this is something that I think that this is very much pointing towards they want to monetize D&D like they would any other online game. Now, this is where my problem I have with it is I don't think they understand the whole synergy or dynamics of RPGs. And I think that's very obvious about what they did with the OGL and what they're doing now. I think they think it's just another online game or another computer game. I don't really think they've sat down because they've made comments. These people have never played D&D. They don't know what D&D is. They don't. And so I think when they look at it and they see that it's played online, they think, oh, it's like PUBG or it's like Fortnite or whatever, Skyrim.
It's like WoW. It's like WoW. It's like Quest.
Well, if that's the case, then we can microtransaction the hell out of this. We can do this, and they have to have a subscription to play. If they want cool uniforms, you have to pay $5. So this is what they look at. They don't understand that a gigantic part of its audience, is the still the pen and paper, sit down at the table, play with your friends group. And I think that's a major miscalculation. I think that this show, by what they did the last few weeks, they majorly miscalculated the fact that I think they always thought they're going to lose people, right? I mean, you figure no matter what happens, we're going to lose people. We're going to switch editions. We're going to lose some people. I don't think they understood. So let's say they only lose a fourth of their audience. I think that's being generous, but I don't know. Let's say they lose a fourth. That they're not going to make $1 billion off the remaining 3/4.
No.
You're going to have to bring in a lot of new people, not just to make up for the people you're losing, but to make up this extra money you think you should be making. And I think they've gravely miscalculated that because I think, look, they're going to have to charge a lot of money from subscriptions and a lot of money for microtransactions if they want to make $1 billion. I mean, it's just flat out. Not only that, make $1 billion because okay, the golden thing is subscriptions because people will take out a subscription. What they hope is you forget about your subscription. You keep paying for it because that's right. That's what everybody does. Is that they want you to get a subscription because that is an evergreen source of money. The money rolls in. It's like getting a subscription to your local workout place and you don't go for 6 months because you forget about it. And yet that $10, $15 getting taken out of your account. That's what they count on. Those workout places count on those people forgetting about their subscription and not actually using it. That's just no different than this. They want these people to get a subscription, whatever, up to $30 a month. Although I don't think. I know that $30 a month number was floated out there. I don't think it would be $30 a month. I think it'd probably be $10. Then with added extras, it might be $20. Then if you added even more extras, it'd be $30. So probably the top tier would be $30.
Right. That would be the VTT and D&D Beyond. Now, I want to go back to a comment here from Anon. They bought D&D Beyond for the customer base, not the tech. That might be true, but then they hired 300 or put out a hiring order for 350 hirees for D&D Beyond specifically.
Yeah.
They're going full digital. And that might be, what's the line from what was it? Thunder, not Rolling Thunder. The fake military movie about being a military movie.
Oh, Tropic Thunder?
Tropic Thunder.
Great movie.
Never go full retard. This is kind of what they're fully committing to something that is not what the customer base is looking for. If Rob Conley is still in the audience, Rob and I have gone head to head over this because I could see the signs, and Rob's like, no company is going to be that stupid to abandon tabletop players of a tabletop game.
Unless they don't understand the tabletop component of the game they're talking about. That's what I'm saying, is that they don't fundamentally understand the brand. They think that, oh, these people will just all start playing online. I mean, okay, so we just won't sell them books. If we don't sell them books, okay, yeah, the old guys like me and Eric, yeah, they don't care about us anymore. They made their money off us. You guys can go out the door. We're just going to focus on the new hot young people that have lots of money to spend. So we're just going to do this online thing. I don't think they understand the depth of the passion of a lot of gamers, even younger gamers, to sit in front of a table. I mean, what are you going to do at a convention to play D&D now?
Everybody bring your laptop with
Everybody
you.
bring your laptop or your phone, turn it on. Your character, I mean, because I see people now, their character sheets on their phone, right? I mean, they play D&D Beyond, they pull up their character sheet. So wherever they go to, whatever the convention, boom, here's my character. I go print them out on the local printer, beep, 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 print them out. But I don't think everybody wants to do that. I think a lot of people think that's cool, but then there's a lot of people over the age of 40 that don't think that's cool and don't want to do that.
All right, interesting question from Bob Hill. How long has it been since Wizards of the Coast came up with a brand new campaign setting?
That's a good question. I actually know the answer to this.
Oh, all right, Mike, fire away.
Because I saw an article about this and I thought it was a great article because it made it so when Wizards talking about the brand being under-monetized, maybe they need to look in their own cupboard and find what's going on there, because they have not had a new campaign setting since Eberron. When did Eberron come out?
3.5, right? Was it
2003. They have not had a new campaign setting in 20 years, Eric. And that is on them. So that if they are worried about, oh, we haven't monetized it, you haven't done your homework. You haven't done any work to come up with a new campaign setting. All we're seeing is redos of Spelljammer, Ravenloft, Dragonlance. I mean, you're not creating anything original. Eberron was the last new campaign setting. They have, and that wasn't even written by them. That was written by Rich Baker, right? Or somebody else. That wasn't written by them. That was that big contest they had to create a new campaign setting. I believe it was Rich Baker. I can't remember. But no, they haven't done shit to help their own brand along. Look at all the possible fantasy type settings they could have done out there that they didn't do.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow, Mike, we're getting near the hour. Look at that, 5 minutes away, folks, from some giveaways. No Jenglays are allowed. Denied, denied, denied. Corporate Eye, considering they chose Forgotten Realms for the base of 5e, they've been choosing Forgotten Realms for the base of 3e, 4e, 5e. It's their default setting. They're never going back to Greyhawk. If they were going to do it, they would have done it.
No.
Probably because they find it to have some questionable stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of old white guys that created Greyhawk, and there's slavery in there, and let's just stay away from that one. It has wargaming roots. We don't want that. But
right.
Look, there's plenty of people that have thought of great campaign settings since then. Or you know what, Eric, you and I could probably sit around for an hour and think about 5 new kick-ass campaign type settings that we've never seen done before. That'd be great. And so yeah, for them to talk about how this brand is under-monetized and people aren't spending enough money, why don't you create something new? And I mentioned this last show. Half the shit they've come out with the last few years that was actually good, like Tales of the Yawning Portal. Tales of the Yawning Portal was a 5e adaptation of all their their famous adventures. They don't create a lot of really good new stuff. And the stuff they do create that's new is sold terrible. The stuff like Strixhaven and, Spelljammer. I mean, that stuff's just, Strixhaven sold terribly. I mean, you can't, it really didn't sell at all. It was awful.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff was really, really bad. So when they try to create stuff on their own, it's terrible. They have a real creative problem there. They don't have a lot of creatives that are thinking of stuff that, appeals to a lot of people. And so a lot of this is their own fault. It's self-inflicted wounds.
Stuart, Wizards of the Coast is going to run their RPG division the way Marvel runs their comics division.
I think so too.
They want their money from other things. Yeah.
I agree. I
absolutely liability. As a tabletop role player, you are a liability. They'll make their money from the RPG and the VTT, but a tabletop gamer playing at your local convention, playing at somebody's house, playing at your local bar or library or whatever. No, your library.
We talked about this last show or a couple shows ago. Is that Marvel makes virtually no money off their books anymore. They make all their money off the TV, off the Disney Plus stuff, off the movies. They make their comics sell in the a good comic now sells 30,000 copies. Back in the 80s, that would have gotten you canceled because bad comics back in the 80s were 100,000. They had some comics with million print runs of a million back in the 90s. I mean, that's how far the comic division has fallen, but they're making all their money off movies and toys and all the TV shows. They're not making any money off of the comics anymore. And that's pretty much, we've talked about the same thing with D&D. They'd be very happy to make all their money off the movie, have a series of movies. I mean, just think, what if this movie really hit? It was really big. That would open the door. Like, hey, let's finally do that Dragonlance series we keep hearing about. Let's do Dragonlance. Oh, that'd be, let's do a great Dragonlance trilogy. Let's do, and the TV show. Let's say the TV show hits. Hey, there's lots of cool. Look, Dungeon Adventuring adapts very well to a 6 or 10 episode TV series, right? Because you have the episode where they all get together, the episode where, it basically fills in the blank. So if you could get this rolling, you could make a lot of money off of video and then, oh, hey, how about a computer game now? Now that we're doing this so good, we've been licensing our computer games out for a while, but they've been shitty. They haven't sold anything. I mean,
before we do that, we got to lock down OGL 1.0 because people can write better games than we can license. So we got to shut that down real quick. By the way, Anon. Oh, I know they're going full digital. Thing is, they could have developed their own VTT in-house. They are. They bought D&D Beyond is not the VTT. D&D Beyond may, in the end, incorporate the VTT, but the VTT is being designed with the Unreal Engine. And what's annoying other VTTs out there is that Wizards of the Coast is saying, "Oh yeah, you can VTTs can still exist. We like competition, but no, you can't animate anything. You can't animate spell. No animation is no. You have to replicate what happens at the game table." So if you can find a way to like spill I don't know, Mountain Dew on the table and get like Doritos fingers going, you could do that. But no spell animation, no monster animation, no animation. No. Because that is where they are hanging their hat on. That we're going to be different because we're going to have animation. We are going to be different because we might have a DM assistant that's going to be artificial intelligence, but don't say we ever said that because we never said that. We're not designing it. By the way, if you notice, when they denied the AI talk, we're not designing any kind of AI dungeon master. All right, so who is? They're not going to say who is.
No,
right? They're saying that we're not, and technically we're not because we don't have the experience to do so. But maybe we licensed it out. We're not going to say.
Hey, so Ron said that Dragonlance, Greyhawk, and Dark Sun are too risky to tap into. I think it's too risky for watching to tap into. I could easily see a Dark Sun TV show, or because slavery is no big deal to TV. I mean, Game of Thrones. Look, Game of Thrones did everything. Okay, they had incest, slavery, matricide, every side, whatever. Yes, you could do that on TV or movies. You could do Dragonlance would be great for TV show or movie series. Greyhawk might work. The problem with Greyhawk is I think nowadays it's just generic fantasy world. There's nothing that just makes it stand out like, oh yeah, that's great. It's just the first fantasy world there ever was for D&D, and I don't think there's enough there to stand out. It has a great history that probably nobody cares about outside of old grognard gamer types. But yeah, you could do Dark Sun, I think, and you could definitely do Dragonlance is the perfect property. I mean, Dragonlance it checks all the boxes, right? You got every kind of character there. You got lots of females in positions of power. You've got a really cool adventure. You've got a quest. You've got spans over years. You've got dragons. Oh my God, everybody loves dragons. You got lots of dragons. You got a war with dragons. They're fighting a war. I mean, you got a lot of stuff. Dragonlance would work well, especially if you had somebody there to tune up the script a little bit and take out some of the goofy stuff. I think Dragonlance would be perfect for a movie trilogy. And plus, you got all the people that are our age or maybe even a little younger that grew up reading the Dragonlance books. They're making a Dragonlance, and I think I've told this story. It has been a long time, but I went on a date once with a girl, gorgeous girl. That it was kind of a blind date was set up, and everything was going okay. And we had to go back to her apartment to get her sweater or something, But I'm thinking she's not my type. She's probably thinking not her type. We walk in, Dragonlance posters all over the wall.
Wow.
Dragon. We're like, whoa, you like Dragonlance? Boom. We immediately had a connection there. Because oh my gosh, I played D&D. I've never played D&D. So she'd never played D&D. Never played it. All she knew was reading she'd read every Dragonlance book, every one there was. She loved Dragonlance. So it's one of those things that goes beyond gaming to appeal to people. And that's what you need. If you're going to create a franchise, you have to have something that goes beyond your niche and goes outside. Dragonlance is one of those rare things that has. It's gone beyond the niche. I mean, there's people with, like I said, she had Dragonlance calendars. Probably everyone else like, oh my gosh, you were really into Dragonlance and you've never played Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, nope, never played Dungeons and Dragons. So that's why I think Dragonlance would be a successful property if they treat it right. I don't know what the holdup is been. Maybe now is its time. Maybe now, it's been 30, 40 years. Maybe now is finally its time. I mean, it took how many years to finally get a kick-ass Tolkien trilogy up? I mean, 70 years, 50 years. I mean,
yeah. Well, Birthright might make a good on-demand series in the right hands. All right, folks. I'm gonna give you that ding ding ding. Everybody, if you haven't commented in the last, I don't know how long, but let's just say if you haven't commented in the last 5 minutes, drive me nuts. Get a comment in. I don't have to highlight it for it to count. But we are going to do some giveaways, and my giveaway I don't know, app, I guess we will call it, only recognizes the comments.
And Jen Glazer is not eligible to win.
Jen Glazer is not eligible.
So in addition to what Eric's giving away, I have 2 gifts to add to this. Number 1, I'm going to do a Frog God Games packet, which is going to be Swords and Wizardry. Our old school stuff, not the 5e. It's going to be Swords and Wizardry. It's probably going to be about 4 or 5 modules, maybe even more. I might have a bunch of Hexcrawl Chronicles modules in there, a couple of hardcover books. That's going to be one. And then I think I'll do another NTRPG Con pack, and it'll probably have a backpack in there. It'll have some of our convention stuff we wrote or that was written for us. Probably a copy of B 2.5 X 1.5. So that's an addition. We'll have a Frog God Games package, and we'll also have a North Texas package in there too, so I can add to the fun.
All right. So I have my email address up there because if you happen to be gifted, as I like to say it, you have to email me and claim your gift. So what I'm going to be giving away is 3. Actually, I guess I need a piece of paper to write down my.
I got a piece of paper here too, so we can write down.
Okay, so hold on.
And by the way, let me say something real quick about our subscription base here. Mm-hmm. So we were joking before the show about and we were joking about Vince too, about how he just went crazy if something didn't get great ratings. This thing built up really slowly. Eric and I, 2 years ago, just after he almost died about 5 times one year, we decided let's just do this because we've been talking about doing it for a while. 3 times, 4 times, I can't remember. It was like 3 times. And so I said, we better do this because you might die next year and we wouldn't be able to do it. So we started doing it, and we started out really slow. We had like 50 people. Then we got to 100. And so we said, hey, we get to 500, we're going to give away stuff. And then, every time we reach a landmark milestone, we give away. Well, these milestones are coming fast and furious now because of this WotC stuff. I mean, this is nuts how quickly this has come. So we had our last milestone was 2,000, and that was December. November?
Maybe it was.
Oh my God! And so we're already at. So we gained just 100 people last week because last week before the show we said, "Oh, we're almost at 2,500." Well, we blew past 2,500 kids.
Yeah, we are. We'll give you an accurate count as of right at this moment. We are. Let me refresh. We are at 2,547. So I mean,
nice.
And we hit 500 on Saturday. I know that for a fact. Jeez. So it's picking up speed. I will.
Thanks, WotC. Thanks for being assholes, WotC. You've helped us out.
The next milestone will be at 5,000. So, but we're giving
Wow. Yeah,
so,
we can't do 3,000 because we're almost to 3,000. I mean, but
yeah,
we'll be giving these away every month. I mean, we can't give
by the
away.
way, when you shop at Drive Through RPG and use my affiliate links, this is what the money goes toward. Okay,
Yes.
honestly. So, first, $50 RPG Now gift certificate.
All right.
Come on.
Hit the button. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
All right. It's saying that there were 31 individual comments.
Okay.
Where's my screen?
Spin the. Ooh.
Oh, we got a winner.
It just gave us a winner.
All right.
Winner is Esteban.
Esteban Vasquez.
Esteban Vasquez. Yep, Vasquez.
Okay.
Esteban Vasquez, winner of $50.
I guess I zoomed in
now.
too much.
Use it quick before we run.
Next one is for 50. Dun, 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 dun. And you can't win twice, by the way. Oh, we're getting some new, relatively new viewers. Light RYU 33. All right, another one for 50. Do, 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 do. Pauper Night. You're not a pauper anymore. All right, this is my big one. This is for 100. You do good. Oh, and we lost Mike. Mike will be back. Mike's trying to dip out of giving away the big prizes at his end. That's all. Device is not connected. All right, we're going to give away our other drive-through RPG gift certificate for 100. Juboki or Jubok. So send me an email. You should get a response in the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on how insane the news goes on this end. Come on, Michael, reconnect, man.
Here, I don't know what happened.
My
headphone gave out. My batteries gave out. I didn't charge my headphone.
So oh my God, Michael.
So what do we have? So
Jubok or Juboki. But now we got other prizes. We got the your prizes, right, Mike?
Oh, so we gave out
50.
Okay.
We got Esteban, Light Ryu, and
Pauper Night,
and then Juboki.
Rob Connolly got rejected.
Rob, yeah, he still could be.
I'm just kidding. I thought Rob won one. I didn't see it.
So. No.
Okay.
He just briefly appeared on screen.
So do we give away all the gift certificates?
All the gift certificates are given away.
Okay. So the next one, this is for a Frog God game packet. It's going to be a bunch of okay, by the way, these will never be reprinted now because we're not doing Swords and Wizardry anymore. And nobody's probably doing Swords and Wizardry because Matt's redoing the whole system. So these are going to be collector's items pretty quick. It'll be a stack of modules, a couple of hardback books for Frog God games, all for Swords and Wizardry old school gaming. So let's do it.
All right.
Frog God Games package.
Drawing for the Frog God Games Swords and Wizardry package. Pauper Night, you just need to email me and I'll be
winner is private member.
Private member.
All right, private member. You need to email me if you're on Facebook. I'll put we'll put the information up there, or Eric can probably put one of my emails up there.
You can email me and I can get it to Mike.
Yeah. Email Eric, and Eric will get me your. I didn't specify this can't be out of the country. By the way, I forgot to specify that. This has to be United States only.
Right, because otherwise Mike will spend more.
Yeah, it's insane to send stuff out of the country now. So private member, I'm hoping you're a U.S. citizen. If not,
or at least residing in the United States, you could be like even one of those evil Canadians.
Yeah,
All
right. So the last package is this is going to be a Nortex RPG Con package. It's going to have a Nortex RPG Con backpack and dice bag. We'll have copies of some of the modules we've done for the con. There's like 4 or 5 of those. we'll also have B 2.5 and X 1.5 in there because those were actually originally done for the con. So probably about, I think last time I had about 7 digest / modules plus the backpack and dice bag. So
All right. A 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Rolling, rolling, rolling. It's purely a game of chance, not skill. Mark's genre mixer.
Mark's genre mixer. Once again, get in touch with Eric. Oh, okay. Private says he's in Canada. I'm sorry, I can't send it. Do you have a United States address, Private? If not, we'll draw again because I can't. It's too heavy to send out of country. It'll be
postal service. As you all know, sucks.
Yes, and it would kill me anyway. All right, so we're going to redo the Frog God one because Private, unfortunately, is in Canada.
Okay, sorry, Private.
That's
Private. You know what? As a consolation, I know it's not going to be the same. Email me, and I will get you a $25.
What a nice guy.
Drive-through RPG.
Yeah, the logistics are just it's just too expensive to send out of the country for free because this is a freebie from this out of my pocket. This out of my pocket. So yeah, it's just shipping out of the country is horrible.
It's just out of the community's pocket because they gave me the money. So I'm just recycling it back where it goes. Right. But again, private member, email me. Address is on the screen, tenkars.tavern@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Email me. I will get you a $25 drive-through gift certificate. All right.
All right, so we're redoing the Frog God Games package.
Yep.
Jen, you can't win this because you're married to Frog God Games, dude.
Well, you can't win anything. So
you can't win anything anyway. So get out of here. Miles, didn't you? Oh wait, Miles Tag, did you win already? No, I guess not.
No. Please, Miles, tell us that you live in the United States.
If don't live in the United States, let us know. But if you live in the United States, we'll send you. Get in touch with Eric. Same with Mark's genre mixer. I love these names, man. These are great names. And then get in touch with Eric. Eric will give me the information, and I will ship you a nice little package. But if you're no can do out of country. Sorry, guys. I know it's discriminatory, but you know.
All right, I am closing down the giveaway machine. Ba-dum-ba-bum. So, and again, listen, folks, this is because we literally, platonically love our community. All right, if you show up and you're watching our live streams, you're watching our recorded videos, we enjoy it. We're happy about it. We are thrilled by it. And if you're using the affiliate links to go to the tavern, I mean, really, with my drive-through stuff, I make purchases for things I want to review or publishers I want to support. I do giveaways. I reinvest money into products to produce, which we are on hold because
like you're okay because you got a gift certificate. You can be out of country for that. You're okay, like
yeah. It's only the 2 physical.
Yeah, it's only for the 2 I did, the 2 package I did.
And
all the other winners are fine. You're okay. Yes, Zach, more Tullus next week. As much Tullus as you can handle next week.
Too much Tullus.
Too much Tullus next week. Yeah, and so the people who won the packages, Miles Teague and Mark's Genre Mixer, like I said, get in touch with him. Oh, you're in New York? You're okay, Miles, you're okay. Just get in touch with Eric, and I will send that package of Frog God stuff.
A fellow New Yorker.
Yes, New York
in the house. Bold is beautiful. Perhaps.
Oh, look who's here. He's here. He's here pimping his appearance next week.
But you know what? Bold is only beautiful when it's a choice.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh, did I say that? Did I say that?
You said that out loud. You said it out loud so he could hear you. You hurt his feelings.
You can't hurt Tom's feelings. It's impossible because Tom gives as well as he gets.
Is James Rackett going to do a calendar? We'll see. He's going to be in North Texas this year. So far, everything's going okay. So
maybe
we get him to pose for his for a year for a monthly calendar.
I got an idea for a North Texas midnight auction.
Oh no!
All right, no, but you can get like pictures from like gaming celebrities, and I use that term loosely. All right, and have each one be for the month. And with James, we get his semi-naked body. That would have to be like July, like the center spread. And I'm giving up my own month. That's my birth month, but I'll give it up for James. But you could. Yeah, I'm sure Alan would pose.
Wait,
And
what am I getting? I'm getting something from Tom here. I'm now busy next Wednesday night. Go get another guest. What
you
the
loser.
hell?
You're a loser, baby.
This is okay. No more pimping. No more pimping Fat Dragon games. They're bad. They'll break your 3D printer. I've heard. I've heard that when you try to run the Fat Dragon game stuff, it explodes your printer. So how about that? How do you like that, Tom?
It clogs it. It clogs it. It isn't good for you.
Tom, we still want to have you on though. You better make maybe the next Wednesday. We'll keep kicking it back.
Show me on the 3D printer where Tom Tullis touched you, please.
I can't believe this guy. We're giving him free pimping of his Kickstarter, and he's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Tom, you could have come on back in I don't know, 6 months ago when we had like half the viewership. And then where would you be? You're nothing without us, Mr. Tullis.
I can't believe he's not begging us to be on this show now that there's 2,500 subscribers.
Actually, you know where he wants to be? He wants to be on God Damn It, Zach.
You might have to wait a long time to be on that one. I think he and Skeeter, I think they're retired on that one. All right. Well, there goes.
All right.
All right.
We can do that. We can actually do that.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of bummed. I'm kind of out on Tom now after he dissed us like this. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Listen, I've known Tom for too long to be feeling any kind of diss from the man.
All right. Well, maybe he can make it up for. He's got to make it up for us. We'll see. You got to try to work out your schedule, Tom. Wednesday night, we're on every Wednesday night, so you need to work out your schedule because
he's going to be on next week. He's already committed. Unless he gets
we'll see.
If he gets committed,
I don't know if I trust him now. I trust him about as much as I trust Watsy.
No.
Don't trust Watsy anymore.
No. See,
I get paid. Yes, you get paid for being on. Definitely, Tom. There will be a check in the mail. Now we didn't discuss any kind of rates, but it'll be it'll be fair.
So Tom, just so you know, I'm like not monetized for like the next 3 weeks. So you can have the exact monetization that I'm getting from this channel.
Wow.
Oh, did that hurt too much?
Hey, how about we can have that calendar you're talking about? We have Tom's naked head for 1 month.
Yes, James. I saw the video of James running away from the camera naked in the snow.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's
and the sad part is that James actually sent me a message that morning asking me to review a video. And here, I'll do the TMI. I was up early in the morning on the crapper going, I got a message from somebody. And I'm like, I can't respond to James. So I'll get back to him when I truly wake up. And he's like, the video's already up. And I looked, and it's James running naked in the snow.
Oh, well, expect more of that in North Texas this year.
What, we're gonna get snow in North Texas in June?
Hey, I don't know. The weather patterns are crazy nowadays. You never know. So maybe we will. So Jen's gonna sponsor Fat Dragon games. She can use all the money she won from all the contests we had earlier.
Yes, Rag will be there on his birthday. So listen, I've already been booby flashed by James Bond.
In Texas, you get shot for those kind of things. They don't think naked men running around are fun in Texas. It's open season on that stuff. You will get shot in the butt or something else. You never know. All right, so that's done. So we got story number 2 here, which I thought was really interesting. This is one that you showed me that you probably know a little more about. So I'll let you talk about it more. And this is the story about Cobalt Press and Wolfgang Barr starting to work on Black Flag last summer.
Yeah, well, the announcement came in my mail today, and I saw the announcement, and I was like, okay. And I think I already saw this. And I went, it's day the 18th. I must have already seen this. But a lot of times certain stuff comes past me, especially now, and I don't get a chance to watch it all or read it all. I just kind of
Mhm.
I do that like, oh, I already know how this game works. Skim of the rules. Like I've already played OSR games. I don't need to read all this stuff fresh. I probably do because it's
Sure.
small things change, but I actually read it this time. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're talking about Black Flag, and hey, the artwork looks really spot on. It looks awesome. That's atmospheric. It actually feels old school while
Mhm.
being neutral at the same time. Makes me feel good.
Like it,
What it,
like it. Yeah.
what exactly is Black Flag? Well, Cobalt expressed to support both print and digital formats. Now, I'm going to point out a few things in this announcement, and in the what you see when you click on the follow up screen. But Cobalt Press expects to support both print and digital formats for Project Black Flag's final release. Why are they stressing print and digital formats? Because I suspect they realize or they know that Wizards of the Coast is going to be doing less in print. Maybe just smaller print runs, or maybe some of their releases are going to come out only in digital format and D&D Beyond. They know something. All right. Okay. Deep Magic, both islands will be forward compatible with the Project Black Flag rule system.
Hmm.
Deep Magic is being released for 5e. If it's forward compatible with Black Flag will definitely be compatible with 5e. You gotta figure that. They're not saying it, but they're saying it. What about the open part? It will be open under the Orc license. Okay. When are the playtests coming? February 2023. I'm going to show you something else when I go to that. Please fill out your form here. I'll I'll click that so it opens up in another. Oh, it opened up in the same one here. All right. We'll look at this real quickly. Um, where's the? Okay. I'm going to cover. I'm going to. Cobalt Press is also moving forward with some clear-eyed work on a new core fantasy tabletop rule set. Available, open, and subscription free for those who love it. What
Hmm.
does that mean to me? It means to me that apparently one D&D is going to be subscription based, at least if you're playing at the VTT. Probably even for the players. I know a lot of the players are used to playing for free on VTTs these days, right? The DM has a lifetime, and the DM has a GM's license with like, 6 add-on slots on fantasy grounds, whatever. That's telling you something. I found this stuff to be very eye-opening and interesting, but it's not the most interesting. Um, who was working on it? Celeste Konowich, our senior game designer. I don't know her, but I
Hmm.
don't really follow 5e, and I haven't followed Cobalt Press since they first started coming out with Cobalt Quarterly, actually. Is the lead on game design for this new fantasy RPG. She has been working on Project Black Flag behind the scenes since the summer of 2022. Well, that's striking because the the OGL didn't leak until the end of December, and nobody got invited to see the OGL and possibly sign under an NDA until earlier in December. Certainly not August, right? Or maybe we'll say maybe we'll say early September for summer, but certainly not as any of us would define it. That means that Cobalt Press likely, I can't say with for surety, likely was either told that the new direction for one D&D was to remove access to the old OGL, or they got mixed signals and are used to getting good signals because Wolfgang that worked closely with Wizards as a third party publisher. Um, so if he was working on this, if his company was working on this since the summer of last year, this is not a surprise to Wolfgang. If you want to know why Cobalt Press did not sign the new OGL, they knew they weren't going to sign earlier than that. They had accurate information. While Mike and I, well, our sources were being told, oh yeah, don't worry about it. 1.1 is opt in. The new OGL is opt in, and if you opt in, yes, you can't write under the old OGL, but as long as you don't opt in, you're good. You're grandfathered in. Nothing's going to change. Cobalt Press knew differently. I find it interesting, and I'm disappointed in myself for not noticing that earlier. Again, everything in that Wolfgang / Cobalt Press is telling you, I believe he's telling you for a reason. All right, these are messages that are being given out that one D&D is going to be going towards digital. If you have to announce your products have always been print and digital. Why are you announcing it's going to be in print and digital?
Mm-hmm.
You'd assume it. You're announcing it because you know your competition, your old business partner, is moving away from print. Why are you announcing that you're subscription free? Because you know your old business partner is aiming for subscriptions, and you know it more than it being a rumor. You know it probably to be fact from your own inside sources. So
yeah, he played this perfectly. I mean, this is going to appeal to every single person who didn't like what WotC did. I mean,
yep.
it hits checks all the boxes, right? I mean, so yeah, he figured this out pretty good about what's going to fly and what's not going to fly with my audience.
Pauper Night, yes, I got your email. Like I said, I'll get to it within a day and a half, maybe sooner. But yes, I got your email. It's on Pauper Night. It's on my phone. Oh, my phone reflects, but there you go. Pauper Night. You can see it. All right, I am very. Look at this now. Now I'm like 10 minutes behind. I'm going to catching up to Tom's comments now.
Wow.
Jen, I'll pay Tom to be on this show.
Do we really want? Are we going to give it up for Tom of all the people we have? I guess we could give. Are we really going to go to the bank for Tom? Come on.
Yes, we will. Well, Tom. By the way, even when monetized, I never watched my language. There was only a few words you absolutely can't say. One of them sounds like a baseball term.
Like if you bunt the ball, like you might bunt the ball, right?
Right, yeah. Or I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That word apparently immediately, even if it's said by a woman like my wife, even then it's a demonetization. That's what that's.
Oh yeah.
And apparently, if you have Matt Jackson on the video, that's generally a demonetization.
Matt Jackson immediately demonetized.
He appears and it's like, oh,
immediate demonetization.
I'm sorry, return E7, E8. No, we got to demonetize.
That's funny.
So yeah, now folks have been asking what's going on with the Orc license. We have heard from Eric Mona, public statements, multiple ones, that there's not going to be a morality or inclusion clause. And I'm using that term mutually because Wizards of the Coast refers to it as we want a more inclusive game. I've made this argument before, and I will say it again. And this is a hill I will die on. Your game book does not make for an inclusive game. Okay, I don't care who you put into it and what requirements you make in this game or what you expect people to do. The game table, the people in that group, the community makes a game inclusive.
Right.
All right. That's what it comes down to. And you can't force that on people. You can't say, oh, we're making a more inclusive RPG. What does that mean? You don't explain what it means.
Well, first of all, what's your parameters? More inclusive than what?
Right.
I don't.
I mean,
is there a certain? Do they actually have a tally of people's private tables? How many POCs play? How many females? How many LGBTQs? I mean, where are these records kept? I mean, so how can they? Okay, well, instead of one per LGBTQ per table, we now have 1.5. How? How do you know this? Where's this coming from?
How do they count as half? By the way, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
But if you're saying you need it, but they're saying they need it in the product. I'm going to go off on this just a little bit because I see where it's going. But if you're telling your reader, your gamer, that a product has to be inclusive. When I write gaming material, gender and gender identity and race is not part of what I'm coming up with. That's on the players. If they want to identify as whatever with their character, I mean, we played DCC RPG years ago, Joe the lawyer played a female witch caster. He had this image on decided when he played. That's fine. But play with whoever and whatever you want. I don't need rules to tell people to play whatever gender they want, or if they
Right.
want to play a particular human species, whatever, you know. But to say you're going to make this game more inclusive, to me, I'm going to take it a step further. I suspect because they want to move this game to a digital format as much as they can, which is why the tabletop RPG played at your local gaming store, living room table, is going to be a thing of the past, mostly for one D&D, is because I would not be surprised if in your one D&D VTT little game table, there's the X card built in, and there is the cry for mama because somebody said something that offended you. And Wizards of the Coast, they've already told you that as a publisher, if you write offensive material, what they define as offensive, they can remove you from the 1.2 OGO.
And by the way, it's a poison pill because there's no parameters for that either.
No.
What's offensive, what's not.
And you can't appeal it. Who's to say they're not going to do the same to the playing environment because they want a more inclusive environment that does away with harassing or any of this other stuff that, again, isn't defined. We do ball busting in my groups all the time, okay? If somebody takes personal offense and they go, all right, well, I didn't like what Tenkar said about my fat ass, so that was fat shaming, and I am going to complain to my overlords at LOTC. Oh, look, I got him banned from the tabletop, the VTT for 30 days. Haha. Is that what we really want? Because that's the only way I can see them forcing an inclusivity clause or a morality clause on the player base. Because you can't do it with a book.
Sure.
You have to self-police yourself as a group, as a community, as gamers. Yes, we should be more inclusive. Yes, we should bring people into our groups that fit our groups. By the way, groups are a social environment. If they are not a pickup group, if it's an ongoing gaming group, it's a social environment. You have to fit into that social environment. Not everybody will. I think that people forget that too. It's like, who do you choose to socialize with? People with similar beliefs, similar thoughts as you, similar social background as you. That's what. How are you going to police it at conventions? Well, the convention theoretically should be policing it, I guess. But I mean, really, I've gone to conventions now since 2014, 2013, and I have never been at a table where they might have been assholes, but nobody was an asshole because of anybody's gender or race or socioeconomic standing. People are just assholes because they were assholes, and you wouldn't want them at your normal table anyway. Yes, you have that. So, should I get off my soapbox right now, Mike? Because I'm on.
No, I mean you're doing good. I'm with you. I'm behind you 100%.
Only if you wear pasties, Tom. You gotta wear pasties if you're gonna be topless. Okay, and trust me, I know you can make them because you have a 3D printer.
Wow, there's too much homoeroticism going on tonight.
Well, you see now this would be considered a violation of the morality clause under 0.12. PDM is stripping OGL content out of his reviled society videos now.
Interesting.
It doesn't master. You know what? I expect no one's on information here. I expect that Black Flag will be to 5e what Pathfinder was to 3.5.
Wow. I think there's a possibility. Well, Here's the reason why it won't be as big, Eric, is because it's nichier. Because so for history, for those who don't understand, 3.5 was doing swimmingly. It was doing great. It was making tons of money. The reason they did 4.0 is they felt like, once again, this is a repeat. They felt like they were under monetized. What people were doing all this stuff for. I mean, they're creating all this cool stuff. Why are we doing it? Let's get another game system up there, and this one we're not going to just have an open OGL for. And then because everybody still loved 3.5, Paizo just said, let's make a buttload of money. And they come up with Pathfinder. And so that was a little different because everybody really still. Now, the difference now is that yes, I think Black Flag will bring in a lot of the 5e people that are mad that 5e is going to come to an end. But I think a lot of it depends on how different let's just call it 6e is from 5e. If it's not that much different, but they just change up a little bit for the VTT online stuff, a lot of people might stay with that. The difference between 3.5 and 4.0 is they were totally different games. It was not a backward compatible game. And so you either had to play 4.0 or play Pathfinder. There was no in between there. Or you could just keep playing 3.5, which a lot of people did. In this case, I think as long as WotC is able to make it backwards compatible enough that they're going to get some of the 5e people in there, yes, it could be really successful. I don't think it's going to be quite the sensation. I mean, because for those who remember, Paizo outsold WotC for about 2 years there.
Right.
That's how successful Pathfinder was. I mean, it was like absolutely the worst thing to happen to WotC. Let's create this new game and let's have Pathfinder outsell us with our old game. And that's, by the way, so I'm going to go on my rant soapbox here. The reason this is all coming about is because WotC does not want another Pathfinder. That's why they're trying to get rid of the OGL. They don't want to leave any loopholes open for somebody to say, oh, well, I'm just going to do a 5e clone and bring in all the 5e people. Because they could absolutely do that. Because people love 5e. All they would do, if they made a 5e clone, they would bring them, their milkshakes would come to the schoolyard all day long. But they're not going to allow that to happen again because they realize that was a huge mistake. And so that's why they basically are trying to kill the OGL here. It's not because Justin Lanasa said ugly things. Oh my God, we can't ever let that kind of person in our game again. Let's get a morality clause in here, and we're going to make. No, it has nothing to do with Justin. Nothing to do with him. This is because they want to make a lot of money. Is it what all boils down to? They want to make a lot of money, and they realize they can't leave any loopholes open for a 5e clone to slip in. That's all this boils down to.
And folks, now they've made their ampersand badge optional. But the reason why they want the ampersand badge, because the ampersand badge, that's where they're also hanging their hat on that morality and inclusion clause.
Right.
Because we are putting our brand on your product. Therefore, you don't embarrass us. Okay?
I'll throw something out there real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict there's no morality clause when this is done from them.
Really?
I just don't see how it's just not going to work. And they're getting hammered by the right. They're getting hammered by the left. They're getting hammered by the middle. Nobody likes this thing except for a very small amount of people who are just so upset that, anything might be taken the wrong way. I mean, look at the people on your feeds that are for this. There's very few, and they're very narrow. It's a very narrow niche. And they're usually people who don't understand how morality clauses work. They think, well, morality clause means the good guys will be able to tell the bad guys to get lost. No, what a morality clause is it's a poison pill that you can use to get rid of anybody you want. And I just present people this, and we were talking about this before the show. Raise your hands if you thought that 5 years ago Elon Musk was going to own Twitter. No, nobody raise your hand, because if you do, you're a liar. Liar, you're a liar. Nobody thought. So you don't know who's going to own WotC in 5 years. what you think is a great idea, and this is why I've seen a lot of people, a lot of LGBTQ people, a lot of POC people have said, no, we don't want a morality clause. It's not going to protect me. Why? Because the morality clause is only good as the people administrating the morality clause. And if you have a new CEO comes in and he's the guy that used to own Hobby Lobby and he decides that I don't want any adventures to have anything about LGBTQ. I want, you don't know who's going to control the property. These are poison pills. And people that are smart realize this and say this is a terrible thing. So I have never seen some of the agreement, more of the agreement I've seen online from people from opposite sides of the political spectrum that I have on this. That this is just a bad idea. So I have a feeling. My prediction is at the end, I don't think this will make it in there because I think it's just too hard to administrate. And people will keep asking, what do you mean by harmful speech? Well, first of all, Eric, we've talked to lawyers. What lawyer have we talked to that said, "Oh, this is a great sign this"?
Oh,
this would be awesome.
But Mike, the other issue
nobody would tell you to sign this.
It's not just what you publish. You're responsible for your.
It's thought police. Yes,
it's your personal actions. So, and if it's personal actions of the CEO, all the staff, freelancers, the artists, anybody associated with the company, where does that line end?
And you don't know what action, because let's say that I sign a contract with them, not me, but let's just say person A signs a contract and everything's cool. And then it turns out that they have a wife, but they have a girlfriend. Now the wife and girlfriend are okay with each other. There's no problem. They don't have a problem. Oh, but we want to get out of this contract with this guy. Yeah. That's bad morals. You can't have a wife and a girlfriend. I don't care if they like each other or not. You're out. There's by the way, you can't sue us. You can't sue us.
Oh yeah, you can't. That's right. You can't if it's the morality clause.
No,
you can't. You can't. That's the great part. Morality clause is non-negotiable. You can't argue. You can't sue us. You've agreed that if we fuck you over because of the morality clause, you'll enjoy it and shut up. By the way,
what if I was a really good-looking dude, which I'm not, and I was hot, and so I decide I'm working for him and everything's okay. They find out I have an Asian girlfriend, a black girlfriend, a white girlfriend. No, we don't know. What am I doing that's wrong? They all like each other. They all come to Thanksgiving dinner with me. They're all okay. I have a kid by each of them. They're okay. Whoa, hey, no, what did I violate? What have I done? I haven't hurt anybody. But you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know what they consider bad or not. They might just consider that doesn't look good. That one of our writers that owns that has a company, it doesn't look good that he has three girlfriends and they're all different races and we're not going to deal with that. It's just it's ridiculous. Nobody's going to agree to this. Everybody has a skeleton in their closet that if it got out could possibly be used against
or some old tweets. Oh
yes. God. What was it? You could do like the director Gunn, they look in your tweets. I thought, oh, he made jokes about pedophilia 20 years ago. Whoop, hey, you're out.
Well, that was
later.
No, wasn't it? In retrospect, yes. But 20 years ago, it didn't seem as stupid.
It was just look, I read the Gunn's tweets. Yes, they were stupid, but they're like high school frat boy stupid. It's just dumb tweets. But you know what? That could be seen as morally deficient enough to get your contract canceled. So
if nobody's going to sign this. If they need the out, if they liked them, they wouldn't have canceled it. By the way, Tammy, what happened is this week in Gaming Stupid, I will say. So what I wanted to do was reactivate AdSense on the blog. So to do so I hadn't had it up there over a year. AdSense told me I had to disconnect from AdSense and then reconnect for the blog to be reactivated, which I did, and it worked perfectly fine to reactivate the blog. Blog was up and running in like 12 hours. The YouTube, I have to wait apparently 32 days from when I first fucked it up before I can fix it because, so it also means that I'm not getting monetized for the 10, 20 times the views I was getting before, whatever. And I'm not getting the membership applause. It should be back up next month, probably middle of the month or so. Um, Listen, I'm just happy that we're growing subscribers. We're gaining viewers and views, and it means that I can even think less about what the words come out of my mouth actually mean or sound like,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no monetization check, so I can do most anything. But
Right.
or Tom can. But Tom, please, sure, because we'd like to. And now I spend my time catching up here. Yes, it's a trap to control people. Listen, contracts are always very detail oriented until they're not. They are very detail oriented until they want to catch you on something where lack of details will fuck you and not the person that wrote the contract.
Here's where the trap comes in. Let's say myself and Eric sign a contract, right? And then my stuff's really successful. But Eric's stuff's okay. They have some issues with Eric, whatever. So it turns out that I don't know. Eric gets arrested because he brings a gun across state lines, even though he's a cop, but he forgot to register, whatever. And they that violator clause, you're out of here. Oh, you're boom. Well, the next month it turns out that I not only bring guns against state lines, I have a bazooka and a missile launcher and rice and poison. Oh, well, we got rid of Eric because now we got to get rid of Mike but Mike's stuff was selling 10 times more than
yeah. Oh, fuck.
but we'll just let Mike will slide. He wasn't really going to use all those weapons or anything. Everybody needs a missile launcher. I mean, that's just a home defense thing. It's okay. That's where you get into trouble, is because once you start making one justice fit everybody, look, who got blown up by that was the Me Too. Me Too thing was, oh man, we're going to get all these guys, they got people they got Hollywood people. They didn't think they were going to get Hollywood people. That's who ended up getting Me Too'd out the wazoo, was Hollywood people. And they didn't think, all these Weinsteins and the actor in that 70s show, they didn't think those are the guys that were going to get busted, but that's who ended up getting busted with all the Me Too, was all the Hollywood guys. And, and I think they thought they were going to get a bunch of, lazy, fat, white, old politicians. These guys are Me Tooing all over the place. No, it was the Hollywood people that were Me Tooing. Hollywood's been Me Too since the 40s and the casting couch.
Oh, God.
They didn't, and so this unexpectedly got all these people they didn't think were going to get, these Bill Cosbys and all these guys are getting busted. And I don't think that's who they wanted to get, but it's unintended consequences. That's what happens when you pass these kind of clauses. There's always unintended consequences. I mean, look at the Kickstarter dude. We're going to pass Kickstarter law rules where you can't do this, this, and this. The guy running our Kickstarter division, he's breaking all those rules.
Our RPG guy is breaking the rules for him and his friends.
We got to fire him now.
And he's making his own Kickstarter, a staff choice. He is the staff.
We got to fire him too, even though he's a stockholder in the company.
You knew they did not want to have to do that.
No, because they got to buy the guy out, and nobody likes to buy out stockholders when you're doing really well like Kickstarter is. Yeah. So I don't even want to know what that quote means. She looks you back. I don't even want to know where that goes or what that means.
Even being not monetized at the moment. Yeah.
There's nobody that says I'll tell you the people that I've sat there that have told me that don't told me, but I've seen posts like, this is a great idea, morality clause. They're just not thinking this out. They're looking at it as these are the good people keeping the bad people out, and they don't understand that good and bad can change at a moment's notice. All it takes is Elon Musk to get tired and fed up and drop money to buy something. All it takes is Elon Musk to buy Hasbro. I don't know. Or maybe Disney will buy Hasbro. I mean, you don't know who's going to buy Hasbro or WotC in 5. Maybe they spin off WotC. They go, we're going to sell WotC and Magic, and because we can make $6 billion selling that. So Hasbro's going to sell. I mean, you don't know who they're going to sell it to. You just don't like to do these things because you don't know what the unintended consequences are.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when guys like Shannon Appelkline agrees with people like Greg Gillespie, you know that cats and dogs are sleeping together,
Well,
right?
Shannon Applecline and I don't know, James Raggy are on the same page. And by the
Yeah.
way, there were people attacking, like upset that I dared share Raggy's shit out on my blog, the actual text of his video, because well, this is right wing propaganda tactics to take left wing talking points and twist them. I didn't see a twist. It was acknowledging that, yes, I understand why people would think a morality clause would be good. I can understand it. But you got to take it to the next step, to what happens when your point of view is no longer the moral point of view, because morality keeps on changing. Those goal points change constantly. I remember when gay marriage was legalized in New York State. I mean, before that, it wasn't legal. And one of the first people to get married was a detective in my unit to her boyfriend, because under that, there was a lottery to get free civil marriages out of the state. And they didn't state you had to be a same-sex couple. So, with 9 other couples, all same sex.
Tricky.
Yes,
she gamed the system.
Anybody who has to tattoo their name on the back of their neck.
That's classy. That's classy.
That's classy, to make sure somebody doesn't say the wrong name in the middle of an act.
Yeah, that's classy.
That's classy. So I was like, you actually scanned the system to get a free wedding ceremony? How much does a civil wedding cost anyway?
$30? I mean, I don't think it's that much. Golly, maybe it's $300 now. It used to be like $35.
Yeah, it can't be that much. I was like,
jeez,
you're an NYPD detective.
That's
I know
I know. I'll guarantee you, Eric, that's one of those detectives that had a place on their route where they knew every free meal was. They knew every restaurant they'd give them a free meal every day.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Is it on the arm? I want to find a place that's on the arm.
I guarantee they knew every free meal in the Bronx or Manhattan or wherever that was. They could stop in every day.
I had a lieutenant who drove from the east in a marked patrol car, the east side of the South Bronx, south, to loop around to go up the west side of the Bronx, to go into Yonkers, our city just to the north of us, to go to a Carvel ice cream that gave cops free scoops of ice cream. The only problem is when he got back to his marked patrol car, the duty inspector was standing outside of it.
Oh no!
Yeah, not.
Oops!
Don't do it in a marked patrol car if you're going to do that. Come on, you know.
Oh boy! Yeah, he did all that for a scoop of ice cream free. That's
you know
smart.
what? If you thought gamers were cheap, cops are cheaper.
Well, that's part of the reason why this might not work either. We touched on that, but gamers are cheapies, and that's part of their. This is going back to the thing we were here before, and I forgot to bring it up. But part of their monetizing scheme goes to the stats that 80% of the people don't spend any money. It's 20% of people DM spend their money. We can get the other 80% to spend money. Have you seen how cheap gamers are? You might not be able to get the other 80% to spend very much money. At least not $1 billion worth of money, which is what they're looking at, is $1 billion monetization.
I mean, you have people like us that buy the new shiny, and we like that we're involved in the community. We know publishers, we know creators, but the vast majority are not like that, and the vast majority of the players are happy to get along with their player's handbook and their dice, and maybe they'll buy some new shiny dice on occasion, but they're not as invested. And those that are invested are the ones that you are pissing off with all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to turn people who aren't invested into monthly monetization pumps. Just grind out $30 or $20 or $10 or whatever from them. They were playing for free before. Why are they going to want to pay now? They're not going to. You know.
No, I wanted to drop one more thing real quick too, because we haven't really talked about it. Was the trailer for the new D&D movie? The full trailer dropped today.
I saw something about it, and I was like,
I don't think it looks terrible. But look, I'm going to tell everybody here: if you care about D&D and about what's going on, and I have had an argument with people like this all week. I didn't think this is something I was going to argue about, but even Glenn said this, like, "Oh, we're going to go see it first day because I want to look." if there's any way you can do it, don't go see it the first weekend. I understand you want to see a D&D movie. You're excited to see actual real actors like Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez instead of generic A and generic B starting a movie. Just skip opening weekend. That sends a message right there, because opening weekend is what they're betting on, is huge numbers opening weekend. If you can skip opening weekend, I'll give you a cookie. I mean, that's because, but I'm just saying is, look, I'll probably see it eventually too. My wife, I showed her the trailer. She wasn't interested. She's like, I don't want to see that. Like, I'll probably go with my brother and some friends, but I'm not going to go see opening weekend. And matter of fact, I may still not even see it then, because I mean, maybe stuff going on that I can't see it, but try to miss opening weekend. I understand you want fantasy to be people to want to invest in fantasy movies, and I don't know, whatever, all the reasons I saw for people having to see it the first weekend. But it really does help just to not give them a giant opening weekend.
I haven't gone to a theater since COVID, so I'm not in a rush to go back out. I still have to watch Top Gun. I subscribe to Paramount. I haven't seen Maverick yet. So, I want to dress it like.
Top Gun's cool. That's a good movie.
I know. I gotta see it. Joe, Ray Hook Ragnar. Tenkar is both a cop and a gamer. He must be cheaper than a Scotsman. I'm a quarter Dutch, and the Dutch are known to be really cheap. But here's the thing about cops, and I think this applies to gamers too. Okay, I always knew where to eat cheap and where to eat well, and they weren't the same.
They didn't always mix.
You're didn't mix, but I knew where I could eat the best tasting food on my post and pay either expensive or maybe a fair price, but I knew where to find it. I also knew where my wallet was tight that week. Where I could get a $1 taco.
Chinese buffet, maybe, $5.
No buffets. Oh, South Bronx. That's where I did no. Listen, my first time going to a Chinese restaurant in our command in the 4-1. So this was late 97, and just got transferred from the 4-2. 4-1, by the way, is Fort Apache. And there's a Chinese place, and we go there, and this woman, her name was Sue. I don't believe it. She went by Sue. And we're looking at the menu, and then she was like, she yells at my friend Chris, God rest his soul, he passed a couple years ago. And she goes to him, you big fat bald cop. You fucking order now. You wait. I got 3 cop in my store. Nobody come in because there's 3 cop here. Order your fucking food. Get your food. Get out.
Golly. She told it like it was. Wow.
Because the locals weren't going to come in with 3 cops and a marked van parked in front of her Chinese food restaurant.
You were killing business. You should have, if you were a dishonest cop, you could have leveraged that, right? Well, if we got a free meal here, we probably just leave right now.
No, it was the worst Chinese food I ever ate in my life, but it was the safest Chinese food we had in the precinct because we knew she wouldn't spit in our food.
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
Next time you call. I have food ready for you. I call.
Don't come in.
I meet you at the door. You give money. You go.
Like, oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh, it was great.
See, that's what's so weird about, like, around here, they love cops to come into places around here. Cops get discounts. I don't know how legal that is, but I know there's a place called New York Deli that's right down the street from me. Running by a couple guys from New York, and they serve pizza and hoagies and stuff like that. Well, cops are there all the time, and so they always say the best place to eat, look for the postman and then the cops, right? That they know good place to eat. So that's how I found good restaurants before, because you see cop cars and then you see postal vehicles in the parking lot. You stop there. I haven't been wrong yet, but yeah, every time you go in there, there's cops. I'm thinking they must be giving these guys a discount or something, because they loved it. They just love the cops in there, man. Cops are there every time I go in there. I mean, it's good pizza and good hoagies too, but I mean,
okay.
It's a little odd. They're just always packed in that place.
Well, and it's true, because like my old pub, God rest its soul, when I was still working and I got put into the command center, I'm talking to one of the other sergeants, and he's like, "Oh, what I was working for the 12. He's like, "Oh, what'd you do for lunch today?" I'm like, "Oh, I went to the grandstand and I had a burger and a couple of beers." He goes, "Grandstand on Grand Avenue?" I'm like, "Yeah." "I used to work in the 110." "Oh my god, you gotta bring me the oh god, what was it? The shepherd's pie." I'm like, "Dude, you're Chinese. You eat shepherd's pie?" It's like, I goes, "I don't want to eat that Chinese food shit. That is not real food." I go, "Shepherd's pie is
Well, I
awesome."
will say he's right because American Chinese food's
Yep.
not Chinese food.
No.
Ask Alex Peng about that. Alice knows that.
Yep.
It's not Chinese food. It's whatever it is. It's American. It's basically Americanized Chinese food. It's not. Well, there was a place down the street as a Salvadorian place, and there's an old Dairy Queen there. Went out of business, and they opened this restaurant here. And there's a sign there, like hand painted. I always avoid it. Then one day I'm driving by, and there's like 6 postal vehicles there. I'm like, huh. And then the next time I drive by, there's 4. I said, okay, I got to try this place out.
Yep.
One of the best. Oh my God. Nobody there spoke English, but they have Salvadorians. Oh my gosh. Pupusas and everything you get in South America. It was incredible and cheap, Eric. Cheap and delicious. I brought Zach. Zach's been there a few times for breakfast. We've gone to breakfast there a couple times. But yeah, the postal guy, trust the cops, trust the postman, man. They know where the places are to eat. If you're looking for a place in your area, they're better than a food reviewer. They'll do a better job than food reviewers. They will tell you the best and the cheapest places to go, as Eric said.
Yeah. I will say I worked with cops that were looking for things fully on the arm.
Oh, I'm
I
sure. I'm sure.
I,
Yeah.
I, I couldn't do that to a business, but if they were going to give me a discount and I was still giving, if I was covering their cost and then some, I didn't feel guilty. But I was like, I can't take. I'm not walking away with free food. They had it cost them money to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they want me to come back. I'm happy to come back at a fair price. It's like I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel weird about taking even. I mean, we get so few bennies running a con, but every once in a while, one of the bennies is free stuff because people will just send you free. By the way, speaking of free things, I want to show you something I got the other day. Hold on, vamp for a second. I'll be right back.
I will vamp, vamparoo. So my one and only experience with getting something for free, I had heard about rubber dollar stores, didn't know what they were, and I got chips and a Gatorade, and I gave a dollar bill, and I got back 4 quarters. And as I'm walking back, counting my change, I'm like, I got back 4 quarters. I'm like, oh, this is a rubber dollar store. I'm not coming back because I'll probably
those are rubber. So I got this free the other day. I didn't ask for this, but it was sent by Levi Combs, the phylactery. Now, here's the funny part is I actually backed this Kickstarter, so I got a free copy, and then I had another copy that just came today. So, but nice. The reason he sent me this was page 4. There's a full page dedication to Doug.
Oh shit! Okay.
The painting that was painted by oh god, I swear I'm getting so bad. Bickford, Ed Bickford painted this.
Okay.
And this is this whole page right here. This is all about Levi and how he started coming back to cons. It was all because of Doug. So he sent me this. He sent Gary and I a free copy because he wanted us to see the dedication. Nice. And I appreciated that. So that was really cool. He did a great job on this. Is, by the way, Phylactery Omnibus. If you're into old school gaming, I'm going to pimp this project too. This has the first 4 phylacteries, and they're basically like a little fanzine, digest fanzine. Has everything in the first 4 phylacteries. Old man Grognard once again says thumbs up, even though I don't know if Glenn's read this, but it's rules, adventures, monsters, sorcerer's tomes, 101 fiendish potions. I mean, just all kinds of really cool little articles written by some of the best in the business. Some written by Levi Combs, who's awesome, and a bunch of some other guys. Another must buy. It's a really nice hardcover, very well put together, but in digest form. You're talking 260 pages of old school greatness here. So I got some great stuff this week. That and the monster book, man. I got my reading material set for a while.
I need to find time to use my reading material. But Angus, yes, I just put the link up in the chat for the the NPR feature. It's about 8 minutes long. I got 2 minutes into it, and then my Uber Eats arrived for dinner, and then I never got back to it. So I'll get back
Yes,
to it.
yes, Angus. There was 3 movies. The second 2 were straight to video, I believe. And actually, from what I've heard, the second one was better than the first one, and the third one was awful. So, good luck looking those up. But you probably shouldn't look them up.
Yeah, it might be painful.
They're pretty much terrible. From I saw so the day the first one came out, I couldn't go. My stepdaughter went with my buddy Dr. Joe, who's an old friend of a guy that introduced me to D&D back in the 70s. And when she came back, she gave it the thumbs down because she went with Joe's son, who's, by the way, Joe's son came to the con a couple years ago. He's a neurosurgeon now. So see, D&D makes smart people, let me tell you. They went, and my stepdaughter said, Pop, don't go see it. So I didn't watch until years later on cable, and I was like, oh, dear God.
Mm.
Oh, my God. This is wow. And so, yeah, I never saw 2 and 3. They were, like I said, they were straight to video. So
a Drift animated TV show.
It's bad too. It's really bad. Besides, it has Kiefer Sutherland as Raceland, but it's just terrible. It's just
Dragonlance. I'm talking about. Imagine Drift.
Oh, the Drift. I thought you meant the Dragonlance movie is terrible too.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think it'd be any good? No, they would never do a Drift show because no,
it actually is too adult and violent.
Yes, and Dro are out on the way out now. They don't do Dro anymore.
Right.
They don't like to do an underground race with black skin that are outcasts. They're not going to do that anymore. That are really evil too. Oh, they're super evil. Yeah, that's gone now. They're not going to do that stuff anymore.
We're sorry, so sorry. By the way, I think during the show we passed 2550 for our number of subscribers.
Oh, good deal.
We are at 2,550 subscribers.
Well, we started at 2547, so
yeah, no,
picked up three guys.
I appreciate. Mike,
yes.
you know how our analytics used to be, where we were pretty much like, oh God, like those like that New Zealand comedy show from, oh my God, when I was dating Rach from like, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago, where there's 2 New Zealanders but would always break out into song, and one of the songs was Too Many Dicks on the Dance Floor because it's just too many guys and no women. That was pretty much our demographics. I think we had like
right. Oh yeah. It was insane. Yeah. We knew all our women viewers. It was Kim George, Jen Glazer, and Alice sometimes, and then that was about it. Yeah, we knew and now we have Tammy, so we had new blood there with Tammy, and
now we have picked up. Our traffic has multiplied by 10 times, but our percentage has multiplied by like, I don't know, 0.2% is now like 4.7%. So we have certainly grown our audience. I appreciate that. Rach appreciates that. By the way, folks, we don't just do live streams on Wednesday nights, Friday nights at 8 o'clock. You see there myself and Glenn, and occasionally Bad Mike joining. And other Fridays are the Random Party Generator RPG. And it's like Joe the Lawyer, Tim Shorts, Rob Conley.
Tim Shorts, Matt. Yeah, that's a great show. I love that show.
Great
I love opening Grognard too. I like all the Friday night stuff. Gives me some. I'm old and married. I don't do anything on Friday nights, so yes, I tune in.
Exactly. Fridays and Saturday nights, I do live streams. What the fuck?
What else? There's nothing else to do. You go to a nightclub? No, that's too loud, noisy. Oh, the lights. You're gonna have a seizure because nobody goes to the light. No.
Nope. So, one of the most insightful comments on the live stream on Saturday with Rachel and I doing Gamers Health was, I really enjoy Gamers Health because the other live streams I get to hear from Tenkar, but on Saturday night I get to hear from Eric. I was like, wow, that's actually touching. Made me feel like I was sharing maybe just a wee bit too much, but okay.
Well, I mean, that's what's so cool about that all the shows fill a different little niche and all the same show, because Wednesday night, you and I talk about stuff that's happening in gaming. Friday night, you guys are all over the place. I mean, you talk about games and rules and gaming. I mean, you talk about just everything. And then Saturday, it's gamers' health, which is totally different subject matter
Yeah.
too. I mean, it's great.
It's been overlapping with the OGL stuff because there's a lot of stress in the community now. I mean, there's a lot of, and it's been lessening a little bit. I think that people are getting a little bit more grounded in where they are. The original 1.1 and 2.0 leagues. People were, you're trying to literally drive people out of business. The 1.2 is still offensive, but I think at this time, two people have already started their alternate plans on how they're going to keep publishing without having to use the OGL, and I think that's important too. And Lensman, I have not seen the Doobie video, but I will try to check it out. I've watched so many videos on this. Gooey Cube, I'm going to repeat, is an amazing channel, underappreciated, undersubscribed to, but it's a marketing individual who is also a gamer and producer of material who, as a professional marketer, is able to evaluate the missteps that Wizards of the Coast is making. I think those insights are spot on. Trying to check. Yeah, we probably should be winding down, Epi. That is correct. He's wishing us a good night. It's 10:15.
Oh shoot! Well, sometimes we just get roll. Lately, we've been rolling. Lately, there's been so much to talk about. That
the spandex was over a year ago. I still got to do another fundraiser for St. Jude's. We will do so, but we got to get all the pieces in place.
Why would you want Eric to wear spandex? I like to forget that ever happened personally. So
hey, we raised like $1,500 for St. Jude's. So, and imagine how much we could generate now with the increased subscriber base. Yes, Lotus. Look at the Lotus War. It was actually pretty cool.
It was, by the way, Record of Lotus War was an actual D&D campaign, kind of like Dragonlance was a campaign that they turned into a story. Lotus War was the same thing. It was an actual D&D campaign. They thought, hey, this would be a great show or an anime or whatever. So yeah. So D&D's has its influence for a long time. It's been around for quite a while.
All right. Elle brings up something that we didn't touch on because I haven't done enough research on it. I have seen this popping up here and there though, and there is a great awakening on the software front under their licensing, which is almost identical to this licensing, and Hasbro could find itself with a lot of friends of the court if somebody in a lawsuit against Hasbro. There might be companies that will tack onto the lawsuit because they don't want to see something like the OGL fall because it could have major repercussions for software. Especially software that doesn't have the irrevocable part in their license. So I found
Lesbian, I'm still looking for an extra copy of Curse of Harith. This poor guy's been looking for this for years. It's one of the best third-party modules ever published. It came out in the 80s by a company called The Companions. It's really, really good. I wrote a really long review for it once for a game site. I can't link it because I can't remember where it's at, but it's probably one of the best third-party companions ever published. And it's hard to find. I'm sorry, Lens, but if I find an extra copy, you're on my list first of all to get one. I believe Lensman has the rest of the companion stuff, and all the companion stuff is quality. It's just quality stuff. If you find it's from the 80s, it commands pretty high prices now because unfortunately it's never been reprinted. You might be able to find a legal PDF of it, of some of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, you might be able to. I don't know where they're at. I have no clue, and I would discourage you from doing anything like that. That's piracy, and that's awful. The Curse on Harris is pretty good. But if I ever my idea for a YouTube channel when I have one is I'm going to take obscure stuff from my collection and do like a full hour discussion review of it. I'll try to have people on that would know stuff about it. So that would be that would be a show right there. I'd do a show on Curse of Harris. Really, it's just really good stuff. And I'll tell you what's cool about the companion stuff. not only were there really detailed, good adventures, but in the middle, they had these pull-out sections that were these things that you could lay out and use 35 millimeter figures on. That would have key. This is back in the 80s, so key scenes in the game you could like put your little miniatures on there. So that they thought of everything back then. Those companions adventures were really really cool. They had great plot lines, great characters, just good stuff. So.
Well, I'm going to make a suggestion, Mike. If you plan on doing something like that, if you plan on doing it as a live stream, you're going to need a co-host who just hides in the background. You get the full screen because you can't do that and deal with the comments at the same time.
I know, and I said if I ever did it, I would find somebody to go on the show. Every episode, I'd have somebody with me that could also discuss the items. So I'd probably end up having guys like Bill Meinhardt on a lot, or maybe even people that know about maybe Lensman, people that have read the material and know about it, because you can't do that kind of show by yourself unless you do a lot of prep. And I'm not really into a lot of prep, as you may have noticed, Eric.
It's just the live stream aspect of it, just to deal with the comments. It's one thing.
I know. Yeah.
You could probably do it as it's like what do they call it? A premiere, where you pre-record it, but then you release it kind of like live, so you could answer comments in the comment section, but you wouldn't be answering them on the screen because it's already recorded. You could probably do that. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't worry about it. I think our audience would be a mite less than this because it would be pretty niche. I'm thinking 50 people might subscribe at the most. So I think I could handle it better. I probably had the same 10 people watching every week, so I'd probably be okay there. So,
Mike, I would say that within the first week you'd have 100 to 150 subscribers.
Well, I need to figure out how to do this crazy YouTube thing you do there, because it sounds cool. So
it is.
I would like to try to do that, because there's so much stuff out there that's been published the last almost 50 years now, and a lot of it people have never heard of, because I just have heard of it because I'm a big collector, but some of that stuff people have never heard of, and I'd love people to share I'd like to share some of the really cool things that have come out. And I'll tell you, this is something else to think of too. I want everybody to think of this. So what's happened right now is WotC's OGL kerfluffle has basically killed all third party coming out with any 5th edition stuff ever. But what it's also killed is the chance that anybody's ever going to sign on to their new OGL, or they're going to write under the old GL. Nobody trusts WotC anymore, right? You'd be crazy if tomorrow WotC said, "Oh, the old OGL is still in place. You can just still publish Swords of Wizardry, Matt Finch." No, nobody can do that. So anything that's been published the last 20 years for the OGL or OSR is all going to go out of print. Every single piece of it is going to go out of print. This is the time to grab up all those things you ever thought you might want to buy back in the day, because it's all going to go away. There's a lot of companies out there that are just not going to rewrite their old stuff. They're just going to be like, you know what? I published 3 modules 15 years ago. I'm not going to redo them. I'm just going to let them go out of print because I don't really care. I have them on Lulu. I make about $30 a month selling them. You know what? Just forget about it. I'm not going to get in trouble with WotC. That is going to happen 100 times over for a lot of these small publishers. And so a lot of this really cool stuff is going to go away. And that's what sucks, is a lot of creative endeavors by people in the community are going to disappear because people just don't want to have to rewrite it to make it non-OGL compliant. Because a lot of times you'd have to rewrite the whole module or the whole adventure, the whole, supplement. So if you think about getting anything now, that's why stuff like the Humble Bundle out right now is a great idea. You're going to be able to get a lot of stuff that might go out of print. I get that stuff now, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one cool thing about the modules that Tom Wilson and I wrote, and Charlie Phipps, B2.5 and X1.5 are not OGL. So those will continue. We could keep selling those. Those are not OGL. I can't remember why we didn't do them OGL, but that was Tom. Tom said, let's not do them OGL. Tom doesn't do OGL stuff, by the way. So that he was way ahead of the curve on this one. Just use generic terms. Just don't do OGL. Don't use D&D monsters. Just use zombies and skeletons. And okay, so we did it that way, and it worked great.
All right. I think at this point,
I think we're talking. I think you probably have to go to the bathroom. So we're.
I think I'm just gonna take a bucket with me next time. And you can train.
Oh, yeah. Just turn your sound down. We won't be able to hear.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on a second, Mike. I gotta mute. Okay, now I'm back. Yes. Oh God, folks. Again, huge thank you to everybody in the live stream. Thank you for participating, asking questions, making comments. You make this what it is. We really do appreciate it. You are awesome. If you're on the Discord server, the Tenkar Tavern Discord server, we do a hangout on Thursday nights from 9 to about 11 Eastern. You never know who's going to step in. Live streams also 8 p.m. on Friday, 8 p.m. on Saturday. And occasionally, even there's a live stream like today, there might be a short video that comes out because something newsworthy comes up, and I got to get out ahead of time. So I want to, again, thank you all. I would thank Mike, but he knows it already, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah. I don't
want. So next week we may see Tom tell us, we may not. So just tune in for that saga.
Tune in for the Tom Tullis saga. Fat Dragon Games.
See if
everybody can rub his bald head and make a wish.
Yeah,
he won't get your wish, but he'll enjoy it.
We'll see how stuck up Fat Dragon is, and see if they'll want to appear with this. So
yeah, you never know.
You never know. And by the way, the week after that, I think, is my trip to San Antonio for Jacob's Air Force graduation. I think it's the week after that. So if that's so, I might miss that week.
We might have we'll have the Bill Barsh special.
The Bill Barsh has volunteered to sit in. And Bill, you think I've got some hot opinions about gaming?
Oh my God,
Bill is a publisher, pace hitter. Oh my gosh, he's got some hot opinions about this.
Right. So you'll enjoy that one, folks. All right, folks, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will be back tomorrow with a video. I'll be back tomorrow on the Discord server at 9 p.m. Next live stream is Friday at 8.
Later, people.
Laters.
Everybody's still making me laugh. The comments are hilarious.
Aren't they?